the university's traditional colors, gold and blue. West Virginia will be in white. Neyland, who celebrated his 53rd birthday on January 1st yesterday. An entire state hungry for national attention gets their chance to share the spotlight today with Neyland and his Mountaineers. And now we await the entrance of the #1 team in the nation coming in, the Irish of Notre Dame. Neyland, who broke Pappy Lewis's marks as the winningest coach in West Virginia history. The Notre Dame band now is circling toward the stands, and soon the Irish will make their appearance. Again, for those of you just joining us, Notre Dame #1, West Virginia #3. Only the 8th time in the last 50 years two unbeaten, untied teams have met in a bowl game to decide the national championship. And it's the second time in 3 years that event has happened here in Tempe, Arizona. Here comes Lou Holtz and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, the winningest university in this football century. The 52-year-old Lou Holtz trying to add still another national title to the winningest football program in the country. Rockne, Leahy, Parsegian, Devine all won championships in their 3rd year. This is Lou Holtz's 3rd season in South Bend with the Irish of Notre Dame. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. We're delighted to start this new year with this national championship game. And Merlin, in our time and in the time 20 years in the future, you go to any campus in the country and someone's going to say, we're #1. And what a way to start it for us.
A wonderful way. And not only that, Dick, this is not only an exciting moment, an exciting game with its own reward at the end, but the opportunity to wear that championship ring for a lifetime.
You were down in the locker rooms, Notre Dame and West Virginia, before the game.
I had forgotten how quiet it is in a college locker room. And there are 118 players dressing in West Virginia's locker room. 108 in that Notre Dame locker room. You could have heard a pin drop. But a quiet intensity in both locker rooms.
All right, we've talked about the coaches. We're going to talk much more about the two quarterbacks, two brilliant players, Tony Rice of Notre Dame and Major Harris of West Virginia. On whom does the greatest pressure fall?
I think it's really on Major Harris today. And the reason for that is that the strength of this Notre Dame team, in my opinion, is on the defensive side. And there's something else that Major carries. I think if he can get off to a fast start, he can bolster the whole confidence level of this West Virginia team.
But he's going against the strength of Notre Dame.
There's no question about that. And the one thing that Notre Dame's defense has done well in the big games they have played during the year, particularly against Miami, where they had 7 turnovers, and against USC, where they had 4 turnovers and a touchdown in each of those games defensively. They have forced bad plays from the offensive team.
Well, down on the field, joining us for our telecast of this Sun-Kissed Fiesta Bowl, the 18th anniversary, is one of our NBC colleagues, Reggie Rucker.
Thank you, Dick. Football players need to feel confident with the playing surface under them. This field is grass. Now, it's a worn field, but I think it'll be okay for today's game. It's moderately fast, and if it rains, it's going to get worse. Now, Notre Dame played 9 of its 11 games on grass this year. However, the West Virginia Mountaineers played 9 of their 11 games on AstroTurf. Football players will tell you, and I can back that up, that when you come from AstroTurf to grass, you feel sluggish, you feel slower. They don't like it. So with this game being as close as it is, if there is any kind of advantage whatsoever, it could mean the difference.
Thank you, Reggie. We'll be visiting with Reggie during the course of the game as he gives us a feel from the sidelines, as well as hoping to Visit with some of the great names of football that are with us here today in Tempe. The temperature around the mid-50s. We had a light sprinkle actually earlier in the day. Cloud cover here in the greater Phoenix area. Perfect day for football. The white jerseyed Mountaineers will receive.
Dick, I think the one thing that is very obvious as you feel the coolness in this air, both of these teams were eager to have a cool day. I think the thing they did not want, because they trained in the cold so much, was a very hot day.
The Irish to tee it up, and Billy Hackett, who is their long-range kicker, will kick off. 13th time in bowl history. And, of course, most recently last year in the Orange Bowl when Miami beat #1 Oklahoma, and 2 years ago here at Sun Devil Stadium when Penn State beat Miami. And now unbeaten, untied Notre Dame against unbeaten, untied West Virginia. Hackett, a sophomore from Sarasota, gets it started. Napoleon of West Virginia, number 33, has it at the 7-yard line. And the young man from Jersey City, New Jersey, toppled across the 25 by Michael Smalls, number 48, a linebacker. West Virginia's offense reads this way. Major Harris, a sophomore. A.B. Brown, their top runner. Craig Taylor, the fullback. Holtz thinks he's the best fullback Notre Dame's played this year. Watch 88, Reggie Rembert, 4.3 speed. He's 6 feet 7 inches tall. Calvin Phillips leads the team in receptions. 81, Keith Wynn. They don't go to that often. 5-year seniors in the offensive line. Rick Phillips, John Stroya, Kevin Koken, Bob Kovac, and Brian Smiter. From the 26-yard line. Harris on the roll. Going deep. And Keith Wynn, we told you they don't throw to the tight end that often. Wynn has 13 catches this year, and they go long to Wynn, a senior from Dayton, Ohio. Todd Light on the coverage. The Irish, one of the top defensive teams in the country. At the end, Flash Gordon. Inside, the biggest of the Notre Dame linemen, George Williams. He's around 280. Chris Zorich, the nose tackle. Jeff Alm has 3 interceptions, the tackle. Frank Stamps, watch him on the blitz. 2nd and 10. And a whistle from the officials. Problem with the clock, apparently.
Dick, the Irish won the toss, deferred to the second half, and I believe they wanted to put their defense on the field first today.
There's Lou Holtz. He was a reserve linebacker at Kent State when Don Nehlen was the starting quarterback at Bowling Green in the Mid-America Conference. Pacing the sidelines. He's tried to treat this game as just a game for his players. Don Nehlen has been outspoken. This is the most important game for his team and the most important game in his coaching life. Calvin Phillips in motion, and the give to A.B. Brown finds a hole and darts out across the 30 to the 33. George Streeter, a senior from Chicago, came up to meet him. 3rd down and 3. Here's the rest of the Notre Dame defensive alignment. Linebackers and the strength of the team here. Mike Stonebreaker, Wes Pritchett. Those 2 men made several All-America teams, top 3. Smagala and Lido into corners. Streeter and Terrell, the safety men. A veteran line supporting Major Harris as he looks for 3 in the first option of the day. And Notre Dame reads it well, and Harris has dropped short of the first down at the 35-yard line by Michael Stonebreaker, number 42. That name familiar, a great name for a linebacker, Stonebreaker. His dad, Steve, played with the Lions and Colts and New Orleans.
Stonebreaker playing with a bit of a stomach virus today, missed a day of practice, and Frank Stamps, his roommate, also a bit of a bug today. We'll keep an eye on them during the game.
Back to punt, Lance Carrion for West Virginia, averaging 41 a punt. And Ricky Waters, number 12, is the deep man for Notre Dame, returned 2 punts, 4 touchdowns. Oh, good kick all the way to the 16. Waters from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, has a crease and is out to the 35-yard line. The tackle made by Theron Ellis, number 66, one of the inside linebackers for West Virginia. 49-yard kick, 19 yards on Waters' return. Look at the Irish offensively. Tony Rice at quarterback. He, like Major Harris, likes to run the ball. Mark Green, Anthony Johnson, they'll share the running duties. Ricky Waters and Raghib Ismail, speedy wide receiver, and Derek Brown, a brilliant freshman, is the tight end. Up the middle, we go to Anthony Johnson, the big fullback, and he has 2 or 3, and then he's smothered. Charge spearheaded by number 49, the leading tackler for the Mountaineers, Chris Herring. Andy Heck made several All-America teams. Mike Brennan moves from tackle to guard. Tim Ryan, a groin injury, not in there at guard. Helt, Grunhard, and Brown, the offensive line. 2nd down and 6. The option and the toss, and trouble. Tony Brooks has bounced out of bounds for a loss. Back at the 38-yard line, Chris Parker, number 94, was there first. Parker from Whitehall, Pennsylvania, in his 4th year. Jim Gray and Mike Fox join him on the defensive line for the Mountaineers. Ronaldo Turnbull has 12 sacks. Watch him in pass situations. Theron Ellis, Chris Herring, the leading tackler, Robert Pickett at the linebacking spots. I'll give you the deep 4 in a moment. 3rd down and 7. And Rice's first pass attempt. He breaks away from Parker, 45-50, and Rice is all the way forward and still on his feet and tripped up at the 32-yard line. Derek Brown threw a key block downfield, a 31-yard ad-lib by Tony Rice.
That's the danger of a quarterback that can run the football, and Rice basically has great running strength. They like to use him throwing the ball short or deep, but he is not afraid to pull it down and do what he does best, which is to make his way on foot upfield.
Rice, with 700 yards rushing, led Notre Dame this year. Broke all the quarterback rushing records. He gives off this time to Mark Green. Take a Tony Brooks, and Brooks is stopped after a short gain at the 31. The rest of the Mountaineer defense, let's check the 4 defensive backs. Willie Edwards. Alvoid Mays led the team in interceptions during the year with 5. Lawrence Drumgoole for the injured Darrell Whitmore. Whitmore broken fibula in the Syracuse game. Maybe the best defensive back won't play. And Bull Orlando, a tough tackler, number 22, moves from strong to free safety. 2nd and long, and not much there for Anthony Johnson. Johnson from South Bend, Indiana, still on his feet, and he and Orlando talk about what's ahead here in 1989.
I'm not so sure I'd want to go down and bump heads with Bo Orlando. He's only 5'10 and 173 pounds, Dick, but he can bench press 420 pounds, and he is the heart and soul. The reason they're angry is because the touchdown there. They touched the ball down, the whistle had blown. What they're saying is, why are you running? He said, hey, why are you grabbing me? Obviously a misunderstanding.
Big 3rd down inside the Mountaineer 30. And it's Rice on the option. No yardage there. In fact, coming up with the ball was 49 Herring. But the whistle had blown it dead, and that brings up 4th down and a choice for Lou Holtz. Will he go to the field goal?
Or well, we could see Billy Hackett, who has kicked the long field goals over Reggie Ho.
It is Hackett that's in there, and they tee it up at the 35-yard line. A 45-yard kick, his longest this year, 44.
Number 11, Big Green.
It is good. So Billy Hackett, who made 3 field goals during the regular season, gets Notre Dame on the board first. 10:25 remaining in the opening quarter.
The 1989 Sunkist Fiesta Bowl is brought to you by the Sunkist family of products, where you can be sure of the highest quality every time. You have our word on it. By Mitsubishi, bringing you the new Eclipse Sports Coupe, See it at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By Budweiser and Bud Light, who'll also bring you Bud Bowl 1 coming January 22nd on NBC. And by UPS. We deliver to every address in the U.S. and to 41 countries worldwide.
$72,000 plus. A tremendously difficult ticket to find, as you can imagine. Around 11,000, 12,000 allocated to the two universities. And, of course, alums from around the country eager to be part of this celebration of the new year, as football's #1 might well be decided, and the Irish lead 3-0 on a 45-yard field goal by Billy Hackett, who will now kick it off to Eugene Napoleon. It comes to Napoleon at the 9. Ooh, good special teams. Number 48, Michael Smalls. That's 2 tackles on 2 kickoffs for him as he stops Napoleon at the 21-yard line.
You can hear this hit all the way up in the stands. I'm not sure that he was even aware of exactly where the man was, but he got enough of him with that shoulder just to knock him right to the ground.
Notre Dame scoring on the field goal after they took the ball at their own 35 and got down to the West Virginia 28. The Mountaineers taking the opening kickoff did not register a first down. This is Anthony Brown picking up about 5 to the 26, tripped up by sophomore nose tackle Chris Zorich, number 50.
Dick, one of the things we're looking at right now is two teams kind of trying to find themselves. They have not played a game, West Virginia, since before Thanksgiving, and Notre Dame until right just after Thanksgiving. It's been a while since they've been on the field. They're just searching things out right at the moment.
I favor the offense or the defense?
I think the defense initially, for sure.
Brown, short yardage. Trying his left side. Zorich again in on the tackle. Make that Craig Taylor the ball carrier as he has his first call. Taylor, a 215-pound senior from Linden, New Jersey, and there's Stonebreaker and company with a tackle.
Zorro, number 50, Chris Zorich, right on the middle, a linebacker who's been transformed into a nose tackle. And I'll tell you, he is a major force. He has the great build, the great leverage, short legs, powerful legs, gets up underneath, and he'll hit you.
Huge forearms and biceps, and he has 4.68 speed. Major Harris gets away from Stonebreaker, has a man open but can't hit Craig Taylor. Taylor had the ball in his mitts but couldn't tuck it away. Williams, the defensive tackle, and Stonebreaker, the linebacker, pressuring Harris.
Much has been written about Major Harris's passing ability, and he is a good passer. He also is an excellent scrambler, good at rolling out and buying time. But this is a very quick Notre Dame defensive team, and they've got a lot of folks who can come in there steaming to put some pressure on you. That was 30, Stams, the last man to put the heat on Major Harris.
So Lance Currion will punt it again. Ooh, high snap. And he just does get it away. A low spiral. Ricky Waters inside the 30. And struggles out to the 39-yard line. 45 yards on the punt, 11 yards on the return. It's Notre Dame's ball, leading 3-0 at the Irish 39-yard line with 8:54 left in the first quarter. Welcome back to the Fiesta Bowl. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen and Reggie Rucker. The Cotton Bowl is a final, and the Bruins of UCLA beat the Hogs of Arkansas 17-3. Terry Donahue has won 7 straight bowl games, a record, and it's Clemson beating Oklahoma 13-6 in a defensive struggle in the Citrus Bowl. Here 3-0 Notre Dame. The give inside to the fullback Anthony Johnson, and he plows out for about 9 yards to the Irish 49-yard line. Johnson, who has struggled with ankle problems all season long, limps off the field.
What a disappointment. You prepare yourself mentally and you try and do everything you can to get ready for a game like this, and then early in the going you take an injury and head for the sideline, and with the history he's had with that ankle, we may not see much more of him today.
2nd down and 1. Tailback Tony Brooks spinning at the 50, and he has the first down at the 50-yard line. Ron Ellis, junior from Norristown, Pennsylvania, made the tackle.
Mike Fox, number 61, had excellent penetration and just missed the tackle on Brooks in there. Otherwise, they would have had him well before they got that first down.
First down for the Irish at the 50-yard line. The option, and now Rice to throw, and has a man wide open. The tight end, Derek Brown, to the 27-yard line.
Lou Holtz has come to the defense of Tony Rice repeatedly during the past few weeks. They've talked about Rice's poor passing, and Holtz said very quickly, he's not a poor passer. He can throw the football. What Holtz has done is to give him an opportunity to throw in a restricted pass offense. He doesn't go back there and try to read too many receivers, but they use him effectively, and when the running game is going, look out.
Leading 3-0, the Irish are on the move. Here's Green. Finally pulled down inside the 15. Another Notre Dame first down.
One of the things that Lou Holtz wanted to see today was a good fast start by his team. He said, quite frankly, we're not the kind of team that comes from behind well. Of course, they haven't had to do that often this year. What they want to do is run the football, basically, and then throw play-action passes to take advantage of the defense.
Double tight end now as Frank Jacobs and Derek Brown bookend the line, and the give goes straight ahead for short yardage. Braxton Banks, who has replaced Anthony Johnson at fullback, his first call. Pickett and company make the tackle. Or when Notre Dame gets inside the 20, they not only score, they score touchdowns. Look at that high percentage.
They're also very conservative down here. They do not throw the ball very often inside the 20-yard line.
Second down, 7 for the first down, 10 plus for a touchdown. Rice keeps. Rice is to the 3-yard line and close to a first down. Bo Orlando, 22, finally brought him to the turf. And it is a well-worn field. For the first time, Sun Devil Stadium had 2 tenants, not only the Arizona State Sun Devils here on the campus, but the St. Louis Football Cardinals of the NFL.
The veer option, and Tony Rice able to get the opportunity to go up inside, and if he has it, he'll take it. He doesn't want to pitch the ball down there unless he has to.
And how well he runs it, as Southern Californians know after watching the Irish beat the Trojans and knock them off #1. It's first and goal at the 3. Former St. Louis Cardinals, the Phoenix Cardinals, obviously, have also been served here at Sun Devil Stadium during the course of the year. Let's go down to Reggie Ruckert.
Jim Gray has been injured. They've taken him inside. He's the freshman middle guard. That's one of the reasons why Notre Dame is having so much success inside. They don't know if he'll be back. He's gone inside, and he could possibly return.
Second and goal, Notre Dame. Waters. Ricky Waters, who is a tailback, but was switched to flanker in the spring. And he is stopped shy of the goal line. Third and goal. James Fuller, 84, has replaced Jim Gray at the nose guard, made the hit.
One of the trademarks of this West Virginia defense is strength, and they have some powerful people up front on offense and defense. Oh, look at that. Just reached up and grabbed a man and jerked him down. Pat Marlette, I believe, the man to make that fine stop off the ground.
It's Banks. No, Rice keeps. Is he in? No, it is marked shy of the goal line. Banks, actually, had he been given the ball, would have had a touchdown. Now they're going to take a second look. No signal yet. Fourth down, says referee Frank Shepard. And Lou Holtz says we're going for 6.
Take a peek at it. The fake here to the fullback, who is in the end zone. He's over the top, but it's the keep by Rice. And he's double teamed right there on the line. Stood up. That's Theron Ellis, number 36, who did the major damage, but there were plenty of other West Virginians there to help.
Anthony Johnson is the man to watch, the fullback, or Rice on a keeper. Johnson, touchdown. Anthony Johnson, who scored 5 times this year, the junior from South Bend, Indiana, who was married just before Christmas. And that'll be one he'll be able to tell his bride about.
Well, and I said we might not see more of Anthony Johnson today with that ankle. This is the kind of game that if you can hobble out there, you're going to play. And obviously, the kind of an ankle that must get better in a hurry because he's right back in to score the touchdown.
So 4 shots from the 3-yard line and a bobble snap. And the Irish will not get the extra point. Alvoid Moyes, number 3, was first in to tackle the holder, Pete Graham. So the score is 9-0. Lou Holtz, like the Irish, becoming a fan, but casual about that touchdown that gives his team a 9-0 advantage.
Football fans, get ready for the battle of the century.
Notre Dame missed 4 kicks during the season, but this is the first extra point missed by a bobble on the hold, and that was just poorly done. A good snap, nowhere to go at this point. And Alvin Mays just puts him down in a hurry.
We were watching little Reggie Ho, the 135-pound kicker. He didn't know quite where to go.
Well, I think I'd go to the sideline if I were him.
So 9-0. Notre Dame, an impressive 61-yard march for a touchdown in 10 plays. And it's Napoleon again returning the kickoff and getting out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. In case you're wondering, West Virginia fell behind early to Maryland this year during the regular season, 14-0. And did they ever rally against the Terrapins, finally winning that game big?
Starting this Friday.
NBC's Championship Monday continues with a primetime showdown. Tonight, number 2 Miami will be out to stake its claim for the national title when they battle the 6th-ranked Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Plus, the beauty and pageantry of the famed halftime at the Orange Bowl. The best bowls are on NBC.
West Virginia rolling through its best season in 97 years. You see that 3rd game, Maryland down 14-0 and then rallied to a 55-24 victory. Then Pittsburgh. The 2 losses, or the 2 wins, Virginia Tech, East Carolina, were their 2 lowest scoring games, and interestingly both on grass surface. And it was Boston College, Penn State, Cincinnati games all over 50 points. Rutgers a scare to Meadowlands, and then they finished with that dramatic night at home in Morgantown against Syracuse. Don Nealon trailing 9-0 early. 4:29 left in the opening quarter, and Major Harris to throw. Underneath, he goes to the tight end, Keith Wynn, out at the 32-yard line.
Talking to Don Nealon, he said maybe our best offensive plan would be to go directly to the drop back pass and just allow Major Harris to get back there and throw the football unless he gets rushed, and then let him scramble, because good things just seem to happen. He is not a coach, or this is not a team that is afraid to come from behind. They really feel that they have the confidence to do it, and they also feel that they're a team of destiny.
Yeah, but it's all Notre Dame thus far in the first quarter, 9-0. A.B. Brown is shy of the first down as he hits the 35 and runs into All-America Frank Stamms, number 30, from Akron, Ohio.
Well, right now, destiny needs a few first downs.
There's Stamms, the parents and grandparents from Greece.
Well, that's good power up front by Zorich, former linebacker, and Zorro keeping things stuffed on the line, and that is a very powerful offensive line. All those guys bench press more than 400 pounds up front.
West Virginia looking for its first down, and they don't get it. Stuffed right at the line of scrimmage was fullback Craig Taylor. So that's 3 possessions for the Mountaineers. And 3 times, apparently, Notre Dame has stopped them. Now, it might be close enough for a measurement. From our angle, it looks as if it's about a half-yard short.
Volcar in there. Let's see what happens to Zorich working on Kevin Koken. 57. Boy, Volcar shooting up from the outside. just like a rocket, and he was the man that made the play. Tremendous hit by Volcar.
Past years, Notre Dame not known for its speed, but on both sides of the line of scrimmage, they can fly, and you saw Volcar fill the hole. Carrion had a busy first quarter and gets away. Another beautiful spiral that'll clear Waters' head. He doesn't pick it up, and West Virginia downs it at the 7-yard line. What a kick by Carrion. His longest this year was 57 yards, and that matched his long punt earlier in the season. Timeout, 2:41 remaining in this 1989 Fiesta Bowl. Welcome back to the Fiesta Bowl. We're late in the first quarter. Notre Dame has had the ball twice and scored twice. A 45-yard field goal by Billy Hackett. And then a 61-yard drive to a touchdown. And on 4th and 1, fullback Anthony Johnson scored. Missed the extra point when the snap was bobbled. And West Virginia trying to call upon its emotional resources.
And Kevin Koken, one of the offensive captains, talking to the other offensive linemen and saying, let's take charge offensively in this game.
Rice gives on the slant to the fullback Braxton Banks from Hayward, California, where he attended Moreau High School. He was the editor of the newspaper there in high school, so he knows how to write his own headlines.
Well, right now, work cut out for Bob Shaw, the defensive coordinator of this West Virginia Mountaineer defense. And I'm sure he's saying to his troops, we need to come up with something big. There he is on the sideline. And I'm sure his pulse, blood pressure, both rising at the moment.
A whistle, and we may have had the delay of game.
Maybe a defensive player into the neutral zone. He's pointing to the defensive side of the line.
False start on the defense, offense.
On the offense.
This is NFL Hall of Famer and Notre Dame legend Paul Hornung. Paul, 9-0 so far, so good.
Well, so far Notre Dame has really looked good offensively and defensively, but they're back down in the hole, Reggie. And you know one thing, this game's not over with by a long stretch.
So you're not feeling comfortable yet?
Oh, I like to see him get out of this hole, I'll tell you that.
Tony Rice, pretty good quarterback, huh?
Tony Rice is as quick a quarterback as I've ever seen, especially playing here at Notre Dame. He's rushed for over 800 yards. He is sensational.
How about this business that he can't throw the football?
He can throw it. Don't worry about it. You'll see it later on.
After the penalty, 2nd and 12. Rice throws out to Waters. Incomplete. Incomplete the call. It was a forward pass.
Penalty, by the way, was against the offense, and they moved that back, as you were able to see at home. This was a good pass, certainly catchable, but as is so often the case, you've got to catch the football before you look downfield.
Yeah, it's a tough one, though, right down at his ankles.
Yeah, it is tough. Not as good a pass when we looked at it in replay as it was when we looked at it from up here.
Tony Rice, by the way, that run of 31 yards a while back was a big one. It goes into the record book. We'll tell you why. It was a draw play to Green, and he smothered out at the 8-yard line, and Notre Dame will have to punt for the first time. Mike Fox, 61. Senior tackle made the stop. Going back to Rice, that was the longest run ever by a Notre Dame player in a bowl game, and it broke a 27-yard run by one of the 4 horsemen, Jim Crowley, against Stanford in the Rose Bowl game, 1925. Jim Sexton is the punter, averaged just under 39 a kick, and he'll boot it from about his goal line. Grantis Bell, number 1, is at midfield. He scuffs it, but it takes a fine roll. That was about a 20-yard roll to the 47 of West Virginia. First down, Mountaineers, their best field position at the start of the series by 21 yards.
One of the things that this West Virginia team now has to do is to take advantage of their experience level. Here's the man that has to light the firecracker right here, Major Harris. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Don Nehlen's team come out right now and say, let's just get in behind that offensive line and let's start hammering and opening some holes. Let's start doing what we do best.
In the eye. Now at midfield, that changes a lot of play calling. That's Calvin Phillips in motion. And the give to A.D. Brown. Tailback gets only to the 47. Back to the line of scrimmage. George Williams and Chris Zorich. collaborate on the stop. Williams 69, 50 Azorich from Chicago. It's amazing how little of the game the coaches see other than the head man.
That's Joe Moore, the offensive line coach, talking to his troops.
Harris trying to wiggle free, gets out to the 50, a short gain of 3. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7. Flash Gordon, senior from Hillside, New Jersey.
We talked
38 made the tackle.
Excuse me, Dick. We talked about a match of speed and strength. Well, obviously speed and strength reflected in the 88 offense of West Virginia. 43 points a game. Second in the nation. We look at total yards and rushing yardage, but that's not going to help you today.
Shut out the first quarter. The defense of the Irish has been tough. That's the early story. Notre Dame, the nation's #1 team coming in, leads 9-0 after the first 15 minutes. Quite a football sandwich. We're in the middle. The Hall of Fame game won by Syracuse over LSU, and later from the Orange Bowl in Miami, it'll be the Hurricanes of the University of Miami against the Huskers of Nebraska. Major Harris, 3rd and 7 at midfield, trailing 9-0. We open the second quarter. Still no first downs, and Harris hit from behind. That ball up for grabs and incomplete. Frank Stamms is right there with Keith Wynn. And again, the Mountaineers forced to bring the punting unit on.
I'm sure some West Virginia people saying, why wasn't there a penalty called? Because there was a jam on the receiver before the ball arrived. But this ball is tipped. Watch the pressure from Stamms right here, and he touches the ball right there. Once the ball is tipped, you can't have interference. That's why they won't call interference on Streeter, who is there to strip the ball out of number 81, Wynn's hand.
Stamms, who has played his biggest games against Miami and Southern California. He's tough rushing the passer. Ricky Waters is the deep man at the 10 as Carrion kicks again. Fair catch called for by Waters at the 16-yard line. First quarter statistics certainly favoring the Irish of Notre Dame as they scored on 2 of their 3 possessions. No first downs yet for West Virginia.
We talked about the importance of West Virginia getting off to a fast start. That simply has not happened. Let's credit the very quick Irish defense. They just have not allowed anything to get beyond the line of scrimmage. Small gains at every turn. And right now, the Mage is getting a word from Don Nehlen. Hey, we got to get something cracking here.
From the 16, the pitch is to Mark Green. And the senior from Riverside, California is out near the 20-yard line for Preston Waters. Number 5 can make the hit from Miami. And there's Green from Poly High School in Riverside, California.
One of the amazing things about this Notre Dame team is how many times they have changed their roster this year. They just have shifted things all around like you cannot believe.
Second down and 6. Tony Brooks. And Brooks, with that last effort as he crossed the 25, may have picked up the first down. Herring and Pickett, the tacklers. Brooks and Waters were the 2 players that were disciplined before the Southern California game, and both realized that that was good for themselves and the team, and certainly might have been part of the spark emotionally that helped the Irish in that big win out in Los Angeles.
Brooks wasn't going to be laid out here. Got here a day early. Waters said, you know how you used to wait? Usually you wake up and you slap that snooze button. No more. He said, I am up. I think I got the message pretty good.
It is a first down, Notre Dame. This time to the fullback, Braxton Banks. Not easy to get him down. And quartet of Mountaineers finally wrestle him to the turf at the 27-yard line. Chris Parker and Ronaldo Turnbull get up last.
Scott Summit's playing a great deal in there. That may mean that Jim Gray, who left the game with an injury early, who had been one of the pleasant surprises and a mainstay at that nose tackle position, may not be able to get back in this ball game, and that hurts that West Virginia position up front.
2nd and 8. Rice with a toss. Brooks to the 31-yard line. And again, attracting a crowd. Mike Fox, 61, and Waters, number 5. Key tacklers. There's Fox, who is from Akron. Gained 40 pounds since his freshman year.
Talking to the West Virginia players, they said he's the guy, even in practice, he goes full speed. Even when you're supposed to be going half speed, he hurts about as many of his own guys as he did the opposing team. But he is an intense defensive player.
12:30 remaining in the first half. 9-0 Notre Dame. 3rd down call for Rice. And the toss and a fumble. And Notre Dame recovers. Braxton Banks able to fall on the ball. And of course, one of the hazards of that option is you're tossing the potato around, but Banks saves it for Notre Dame, and with it a first down.
Chris Herring, number 49, leading tackler and really the leader of this defense, with a chance at a ball on the ground. And boy, that would have been a great opportunity for West Virginia, but it's alertly saved by one of the offensive players for Notre Dame.
Banks not only keeps the ball in the Irish possession, but they get the first down. On the 38. Brooks close to the 45, and a good gain on first down. Orlando and Mays, a couple of secondary men, make the stop. There's Orlando, 22. 173 pounds and bench presses 420.
That's a little scary, isn't it? Good-looking football player, tough. He really is the heart of that defense, and I'm sure he's frustrated right now, as are all of these West Virginia defensive players.
Banks was in for Johnson, limped off the field. He's had knee problems, and so the Irish now have a freshman moving from tailback to fullback, Rodney Culver. He's a 212-pounder from Detroit. He played more than any other freshman running back with Notre Dame this year, and he has been good since he was very young. As a freshman in high school in Detroit, he rushed for over 1,300 yards. Where's number 5, Rodney Culver? I do not know what this delay is about. Perhaps the clock malfunctioning.
Perhaps an opportunity to talk a little bit about this Notre Dame team. And interesting to talk to Lou Holtz. He said, you know, we've had a good year, but he said we're kind of ahead of schedule. We're supposed to be this good next year. And really there is the sense that this will be a better team next year. They graduate very few upperclassmen. There's the problem. There's the problem. The 25-second clock not working. But there is the sense that the strength of this team is in the young recruiting classes brought in by Lou Holtz, and with an intense perspective on speed. In fact, 28 of the players on this team run 4.6 in the 40 or less, and that was his #1 priority. He said he believed Bear Bryant, who said luck follows speed. He said, I want some luck to follow me here.
He said it's like that sign, speed kills. He said, you know, that can apply to football too when you have all the speed. On 2nd down, Mark Green. Big hole, and it appears to me as they pick up the first down, Notre Dame near the 50-yard line, Merlin Olsen, that in the battle of the two lines, both sides of the ball, the Irish are beating the Mountaineers.
Certainly appear that way. Let's look at what's happening with Chris Herring trying to read this play and get inside. Gets a nice piece of the tackler there, or the ball carrier, but Brooks just too strong, able to pick up the first down anyway.
Dean Brown, 71, the right tackle, really wedged open a good opening. First down, the Irish. They lead 9-0, and they're piling up the yards on the ground. That's the way Lou Holtz likes it. The toss to Waters, the speedy wide receiver at tailback, and they get him in the backfield for a loss of a yard.
Robert Pickett, number 45, the first man in on the tackle.
It appears Jim Gray, the freshman star nose tackle, will not be back. He has taken his pads off, and when a football player takes his pads off, that's an indication that he won't play again.
Jim Gray injured in the opening minutes of the game. and a loss at that critical nose guard or nose tackle position. Rice 2nd and 11. Mountaineers looking for a pass. Rice has the option. He throws long on the run. Ismail incomplete. Now I know many of you around the country, as Mays was covering and the Irish wanted interference, have heard it Ragib Ismail, but he prefers Ragib Ismail.
Well, and he is a rocket with speed of 4.28. Oh, you wonder if Rice can unload that football. And that's Al Boyd. Mays, what happens when you shoot a rocket into a void? A couple of interesting nicknames. There's the Boyd, Al Boyd, and of course the rocket, Ragib.
Well, he avoided with that left hand, but apparently ruled not a catchable pass anyway. No question that he made a hit. But boy, what an arm for Rice running against his body. Down the middle, complete to the tight end, and it's Derek Brown all the way to the 4-yard line. Derek Brown, 6'7", 235, a brilliant first-year freshman. His first 2 catches were for touchdowns. He is a star of the future.
Well, he's a star of the moment here as he catches it. Only a great play right there by Bo Orlando. Saves the play, saves the touchdown. Rice dumped by Bob Pickett, but nice pass, nice run.
Well, threatening to make it more than 9-0. They've got a touchdown. Rodney Culver. Notre Dame scores again.
Chris Herring, 49, an opportunity, but he overran the play, and Culver, hungry for that end zone, packs it in with ease.
So the freshman from Detroit, Culver, playing because of the injuries to the upperclassmen, Banks and Johnson at fullback, slams in for the score, and now Reggie Ho measures off his marks as he tries the extra point. Tim Grunard to snap, and Pete Graham, who bobbled the snap last time, is the holder. They try the extra point off angle, and Ho knocks it through. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish very impressively lead 16-0.
And you notice there's no end zone celebration here. Hope says he wants his players to look like they've been there before.
Welcome back to Tempe, Arizona. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish have 16 points. The Mountaineers of West Virginia have 0 first downs.
They've got to get something going here. I wouldn't be surprised to just see him say to Major Harris, Major, get back there. Let's see you throw the football. The nice thing about college ball is with the 2-point conversion, 2 touchdowns, 2 two-pointers, you're right back even in the ball game.
Well, one of the guys we haven't seen so far for West Virginia, number 88, Reggie Rembert. He's that big, tall receiver who can really gallop.
They'd love to get the ball to him. They certainly need to see something started here. You see the muskets on the back of Major's helmet there. Those are for big plays. Well, they need some big plays right now. And it wouldn't hurt to start on the kickoff and get something going. There are the muskets, symbolic of team awards as well as individual big plays. No one has made more of those during his time at West Virginia than has this man in a short span. But right now, it's not what you've done in the past that counts. It's that something needs to go now.
Napoleon again has been a busy return man as Hackett prepares to kick it on. This one's fairly short. Napoleon at his 15. Gets through the wedge and out across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Ned Bolcar 47 and 32 DeJuan Francisco make the stop.
Been a frustrating day for this West Virginia offense, and it's been 3 and out all day long.
Yep, the Rockettes. Grease 3 and a kick. 3 and a kick.
There's Barry Alvarez. I tell you, his troops can take some credit for that. Some fine defense from Notre Dame.
Here's Harris. Throwing deep downfield for Rembert, incomplete. And leaping in front of the play, Pat Terrell, number 15, had his hands on it for a moment. There's Terrell. Remember that Miami game when the Hurricanes went for the win when it was a one-point game? It was Terrell that knocked that two-pointer away in the end zone.
Well, you notice who was in there on the play. Wes Pritchett, number 34. Pritchett on the blitz. One of the fifth-year seniors, and there are only 3 of them on this Notre Dame squad, making his presence felt.
Now that's why the pass was not only short but offline. The toss outside goes to Unger Johnson, and he is hit hard. The 41-yard line. He paid for that 5-yard gain.
And I believe it was Pritchett again on the outside. Looked like he may have bent his face mask on that one, but he is one of the 3 amigos. Pritchett, Stams, Stonebreaker, inseparable. Let's see if it is Pritchett on the outside. 29th Smagala. No, it's not.
Pat Terrell.
Pat Terrell.
And the flag is on Pritchett for a late hit, apparently. Here's referee Frank Shepard.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, automatic first down.
Pritchett, he's a fifth-year man, a senior from Atlanta, where he went to Westminster High School. He and some of the other men who were there at the end of the Jerry Faust reign, remember that terrible shellacking they took in Miami their freshman year. Now a chance to complete the cycle and finish their college careers with a national championship. Harris drills the ball incomplete right through the mitts of A.B. Brown. Oh, he has got a rocket for an arm. What a great athlete this young man is from Pittsburgh. He's got 2 more years of eligibility. Recruited by many of the major schools as a defensive back, West Virginia, knowing that Harris wanted desperately to play quarterback in college, said, hey, we got a spot for you. And they love this man in the state of West Virginia. Give on the draw goes to Anthony Brown. Didn't get too much. 41-yard line. Back to Major Harris. Merlin, he said that his idol growing up in Pittsburgh was not a Steeler. It was a Cleveland Brown quarterback, Brian Sipe. He said he liked the way that Sipe would bring the Browns back. Well, he's in the role today. Down 16-0.
Well, I think that's logical. Sam Clancy had grown up in the same hill district in Pittsburgh that he grew up in and had gone to the Cleveland Browns, kind of drew his attention over there, and Sipe was somebody he watched a lot.
3rd and long. Harris scrambling, throwing, and Craig Taylor has a first down at the 31-yard line. So they got the penalty on that was their initial first down, and now on the pass 3rd down, the second Mountaineer first down.
And you got a shot, a little volley from the Mountaineer who said maybe this will help. We'll give him a little bang down here.
With all the ammunition he has, with those games where they scored over 50, maybe figures he won't use it all today. Ball just outside the 30-yard line. Trailing 16-0. 8 minutes left, second quarter. Brown, a big hole, and a solid open field tackle by Stan Smagala on that left corner, or Brown might have been gone.
This is an offensive line that's played together since they were playing as the Hamburger Squad early on as freshmen. Fine blocking inside. Good job by Craig Taylor to the fullback, coming up with a real shot. He may be the most underrated player on this West Virginia team.
2nd and 3. Good second effort by Taylor to stop at the line of scrimmage, and there goes some flags. After the play, George Williams 69 and Keith Wynn 81.
There's some popping going on down at the line of scrimmage, and what we may have seen was a retaliation. You don't want to be the guy to head back.
Personal foul, defense, automatic first down.
Yes, it was. Wynn was hammering right there, And he was the guy that got the first shot in, and George Williams took a shot later and takes the 15-yard penalty.
You notice the difference in the uniforms. The West Virginia players have their names on the back, and they have the Fiesta Bowl emblem on the shoulders. Notre Dame has none of that. No names, no Fiesta Bowl. That was Lou Holtz, one of his techniques. It's just another game. He didn't want them to think of this game being so important.
And I think it's paid off, because I think his troops have adjusted emotionally better in this first quarter by far, and certainly it shows on the scoreboard.
But here's the Mountaineers' best chance from the 11-yard line. Trailing 16-0. The toss to A.B. Brown. And he's bounced out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Good play by Smagala. Boy, he comes from good heritage, does number 29 Stan Smagala from Burbank, Illinois. There was a feature on his dad, you might remember, Stan Sr. At 42 years of age, Smagala's dad was playing football in junior college. Said he couldn't outrun him, Stan Jr., until he was a junior in high school. Smagala there on that right corner for the Irish. He had the 64-yard touchdown with the interception against Southern Cal. Surprisingly, the Mountaineers stay on the ground, and Brown gets maybe 3. Brian Flannery backing up Chris Zorich at the nose tackle. Makes the stop.
This is a West Virginia team that runs a tremendous variety of formations and offensive differences, but they have not been that effective, and it looks to me like they're just leaning on that big fifth-year senior offensive line and saying, hey, we're coming up inside.
Harris gets some help. Will they run it? Yes. And now he throws. Touchdown. And it was a legal pass. He threw it from the 5-yard line. Jamie Lamont, number 15, has the score. Now, wait a minute now. He threw it from the 5. The line of scrimmage was the 7. That may not be a legal pass.
Now, they're trying to ask the question now, but this is not the kind of situation where we get a review from up above.
There goes the flag.
Illegal forward pass. Quarterback across the line of scrimmage.
So the touchdown will be nullified. Major Harris scrambling, and at the last minute the Irish came up to meet him to deny the run, and so he flipped it to Lamont, but he had already passed the line of scrimmage. That carries a loss of down, so now it's 4th down.
Let's take a peek and let's see if we can pick out the spot where he finally stops to throw this football. He brings the team up. Pritchard right there stops and freezes his foot right on the 5-yard line.
Yeah,
there's no question about that, and there's no question that he was over the line of scrimmage.
Only a 5-yard penalty, but severity of the call, you lose the down, so there's no second chance on 3rd down. So 4th down, in comes Charlie Bauman to try a field goal, and he knocks it straight through from 29. That's not what the Mountaineers wanted. They were looking for 7 or 8. They have to settle for 3, and it's still the Irish, 16-3. Major Harris and the West Virginia Mountaineers have not been able to make the proper connections. 7-yard line. He threw from the 5. The penalty. They had to settle for the field goal at 16-3, and now they must kick off to the freshman Ismail, who returned 2 for touchdowns during the year and was awarded by the NCAA the kickoff return title this past season. There he is from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. He runs a 4.28. That great moment of anticipation, almost like fighters coming into the ring before a big one. Charlie Bauman kicks it off for West Virginia. Kicks to the side, but Ismail is there at the 14. Stays on his feet. Boy, for a little guy, he's got some leg strength, carrying big men with him. 175-pound Ismail, and finally 99, Basil Proctor, who played here 2 years ago briefly with the University of Miami, then transferred to West Virginia, makes the stop.
Ismail with a brother Quaddy, who's a freshman wide receiver at Syracuse. They call him the Missile, and a baby brother, Suleiman, who's called the Bomb. Well, he says his mom is called the launching pad. And you could see some power there from the rocket. He's got rocket-like strength in those legs. You're right, Dick.
37-yard line. 16-3, Notre Dame leads. 6 minutes, 9 seconds left. Third in the second quarter. Tony Rice balling out to the 42-yard line. Ronaldo Turnbull tripped him up.
Quick story about Tony Rice. Got his first opportunity to get into the game when Terry Andrzak was hurt. Pittsburgh, 87. Got in there, and he was so worried about reading the defense that he lined up under the guard. Anthony Johnson said, "Tony, move over, move over."
He's really a popular player, as is Harris. They're not only voted the MVPs of their respective teams by their teammates, they're probably the most popular players on each of the squads. Inside handoff to Tony Brooks, and he's shy of the first down at the 46 by a long yard. Herring again in on the tackle.
One of the men leading that play around the end, Andy Heck, who moved unselfishly this year from tight end to offensive tackle. He said he went from being a slow tight end to a fast tackle. Can you imagine being asked to gain 30 pounds? Now, wouldn't that be fun? All the things you need.
Now it would, yes. Now it would.
He ate 5 times a day, he said, to put on that extra 30 pounds.
3rd and 2 from the 45. And to give to Culver, the freshman, to score the touchdown. He fumbled the ball, and who's got it?
Second time today, the ball is on the ground, and it looks like Notre Dame has recovered again.
Tim Ryan, the guard. Oh, that's, and they fumbled forward for another first down. Both times the ball going forward for first down yardage, and both times someone in the same uniform color getting the ball.
Ryan, on the left-hand side of your screen, on the ground as that ball pops loose. A chance right there by Bo Orlando, number 22, but the ball slipped underneath him, and Ryan was able to get on it.
Freshman Steve Grant, number 4, forced the fumble. First down Irish. Rice hit, but does not go down until he picks up 3.
Fine play by Pat Marlette, number 95.
The average size of these two offensive lines compared with the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll see them against Buffalo on NBC next Sunday. Shows you how big these young lads are.
Well, they are not small. And I mentioned the strength of this West Virginia team, but the Irish themselves have a very, very good strength program and some strong players on their side of the line as well.
Fast moving first half, 3:45 remaining, and now Rice down the middle has a wide open number 22 Anthony Johnson fumbles, but was he down?
He was down. They point to the spot. Anthony Johnson having a big day so far here today. That's got to be exciting for a young man who grew up in South Bend and worked as a messenger for the ushers in the stadium. Had a chance to watch the Irish play through his life and dream of one day putting on that golden helmet. Well, here he is, a chance to help his team to a national title, and so far so good.
His brother Mike was a walk-on linebacker at Notre Dame, preceding him. The Irish on the move with a 16-3 lead. Rice again. Oh, he consistently breaks out of the initial hit, and finally it's Steve Grant, a freshman from Miami, who secures him.
Dick, one of the things that Lou Holtz really believes in is making it tough on his quarterbacks in practice. He really growls at them. He's up in their face. And his philosophy is very simple. He said, I want to make it so tough in practice that when they get in the game, it's a piece of cake.
Second down and 9. And a whistle, and that could be delay.
Yeah, I believe it's too much time.
Dead ball. Ball start.
Oh.
Offense. Still second down.
Somebody getting an early jump.
Looked like Andy Heck was a little twitchy there at left tackle. 31-yard line, they set the ball.
See if we can see who was getting the move. No, it's the right guard getting the move. Is that Ryan in there?
Tim Ryan or Tim Grunard? Grunard. So second down, a short 14.
There's
Bryson. And well read on the corner, Scott Summits.
We have not seen as much of the option as we anticipated. Both of these teams coming in, that was the mainstay of their offensive diet. We have not seen very much of it. We did see it there, and a good play by West Virginia's defense to shut it down for a short gain.
Lou Holtz figures this is the time of his life. Said never had a hole-in-one. He's an avid golfer until last year he got 2 of them. Said, what did your friend say? Said, press.
Well, no pressing here.
On 3rd and long, Rice to Ismail for a touchdown. Boy, that ball threaded through several West Virginia hands to the Rocket. And he shot into the end zone with a 29-yard score. And the Irish are really celebrating the new year.
Tony Rice, who had seen so many articles written and had so often been asked about his passing ability, has answered the critics today.
Reggie Ho tries the point after. And the Irish lead 23-3, going 63 yards in 8 plays. Tony Rice with a clothesline throw to the Rocket Ismail for the score. The Rocket Ismail just moments ago shouting, hello, Wilkes-Barre.
Hey, love the podcast, man. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. How you doing?
His mother is celebrating her birthday today. He said, I'm playing. Tony Rice's mother is celebrating the birthday of the man who threw the ball to Ismail, and said, you usually see those kids in the sidelines saying, hi, Mom. Well, Tony Rice will get his chance to wish Mom a happy birthday. I think he already has. Napoleon. At the 13. And he returns just to the 30, and a flag is down. Tackle made by Grimm of Notre Dame. We may have had a block below the waist. .143 remaining in the half. The penalty will push the Mountaineers even deeper back. All the officials from the Southwest Conference, Frank Shepard, the referee, Messrs. Voss, Coleman, Underwood, Moore, Lewis, and Evans.
On the run back. First down.
Now that'll take it back to the 17-yard line, and not much time for Major Harris. 1:43, trailing 23-3. And we have a timeout.
Someday, all Air Express companies will have landing rights in Japan, just like Federal Express. But until then, you'll just have to pretend.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son. It's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth strip for the best a man can get.
Shearson Lehman Hutton, where we stand. We believe that as investors' time frames have grown shorter, the real purposes of investing have been obscured. We believe investing is not a series of short-term economic events, but a long-term process, and that only the long view can lead to long-range success for individuals, for corporations, and for a nation. Shearson Lehman Hutton.
Michelob, a truly great-tasting beer anytime, but especially after the night falls. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob?
A reminder, later in today's game, we'll be selecting the most valuable player. Sunkist will donate $2,500 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Arizona in his name. Well, you expect the Mountaineers to put the ball in the air now, and the Irish loosen their deep defense. Instead, it's a draw to Taylor, the fullback, and he just gets a few. Shy of the 20, met by Don Grimm, a sophomore linebacker from Scottsdale, Pennsylvania.
One of the things that Barry Alvarez's defense has done is basically to play through most of this first half with just 4 defensive backs. That means a lot of man-to-man coverage, and it's been very effective.
Harris gets away from Stams, then throws to the 30 and a first down to wide receiver Grantis Bell. His first catch. He's from Fort Lauderdale. No huddle. 1:15 to go. They'll stop the clock to move the chains. 11 yards on that pass.
Major Harris getting an audible call out to his wide receivers. The big man we talked about, Reggie Rembert, right here, matched up with Todd Light. Speed on speed.
Good protection. Now breaks down. Now the throw, and incomplete. It is intercepted, or the ball hit the ground. Wes Pritchett says he caught the ball, but the official says, the ball hit the ground first. Arnold Ali, a freshman from Carson, California, was right on the receiver, and then Pritchett, along with Stonebreaker and Stams, the three amigos, they got a great sense of humor. He'll talk about that one.
That pass should have been caught right into the hands of Taylor. And Dick, let's watch as it touches the ground right there. Good call by the officials. It's quite possible that Major Harris may have a problem with his left shoulder. I noticed as he ran onto the field, he wasn't pumping that arm at all, kind of holding it tight to his shoulder. We'll keep an eye on him.
There's a throw to the sidelines and an immediate hit on Grantis Bell by Stan Smagala. Final minute of the first half, 23-3 Notre Dame. Mountaineers frantically trying to get something before the gun that ends this half. Third down. Not calling a timeout for some reason. Up the middle to the 40 goes fullback Taylor. Pritchett makes the stops. It's very close to a first down, and now the signal given. First down, West Virginia. They have 3 timeouts left, but for some reason,
well, that'll stop the clock as they move the chains.
But then it started as soon as they're in place.
32 seconds. You'd think that they would be getting them called at this point.
Now the clock starts. Harris going deep for Bell. Incomplete. He was out of bounds anyway, and good coverage by Terrell and Smagala.
Smagala with 4.35 speed in the 40, and Terrell with 4.34 speed. Kind of difficult to outrun those folks. And I think that's the frustration that Don Nehlen is facing right now. I don't believe that West Virginia has faced this kind of speed anywhere in their schedule, and they're having real difficulty coping with it. Barry Alvarez very proud of his defense, and the slowest man on this defensive team, George Williams, a tackle at 282 pounds, runs a 5-flat 40. Dick, these guys can fly.
And the NFL teams can't boast of that kind of defensive speed. Harris with a flip to his tight end Keith Wynn, and Wynn is dragged down at the 50-yard line, goes out of bounds, stops the clock 13 seconds. But those little short gainers aren't going to do it for West Virginia. They need one big play here if they're going to add to their 3 points of the first half.
Not good numbers for Major Harris. Has had a very effective year of passing, and his forte is the long ball. They've been able to get the big gainers, but they have not found those openings against this Notre Dame defense today.
See that defense looking for the long ball now as they drift back. 3-man rush, and now Stams on a delayed blitz. Harris on the run, throwing for Rembert. They finally found Rembert at the 14-yard line, and with 4 seconds left, West Virginia at least in position to try a field goal. They'll call timeout.
Well, every third time that Rembert has touched the ball, there's been a touchdown. He's had 7 out of 21. This one does not go for the TD, but does put them in position to go for some points.
And with a timeout, 4 seconds to go in the half, we'll return to see if they go for 6.
From now on, this is what dry is. Dry is a beer that starts bold from the first taste, finishes clean with no aftertaste, and refreshes completely. Dry is a beer called Michelob Dry. One taste, and you'll drink it dry.
Odious, contemptible, deplorable. I'm speaking of offending in the personal grooming arena. Something I would, of course, consider quite beyond the pale. So I give you Right Guard Sport Stick, antiperspirant and deodorant. When one needs to seek maximum protection and a fresh scent, one should grab oneself one of these Right Guard Sport Sticks, because one would hate to be considered malodorous by one's chums. Now, wouldn't one? Right Guard Sport Sticks from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Something's about to happen with my 2 dads.
I got the new issue. We in it? Yep, we're back. We're back on the air.
Well, we better turn on the set. Well, how can we be on the TV unless we go make some new shows?
It's a great hour of comedy. The return of My 2 Dads after Night Court, Wednesday, January 11th.
Chance to watch the delayed blitz by Stams, and there's Rembert drifting across the field. Scramble by Major Harris, and finally unloads the football. Pat Terrell, 15, there to dump him out of bounds. And it would appear that the decision by Don Nealon is to go for the 6 points, to go for the touchdown. No, here it comes. Now they've changed their mind.
That's a pretty tough one from the 14. One shot at a touchdown, so they're going to go for the 3 and head into the locker room with another score at least.
Well, they want some points on the board, and this is a veteran team. They've been around a long time. They've got a lot of experience. They believe in themselves.
31-yard attempt by Bauman is right in the middle, and that's the end of the first half. A half in which Notre Dame showed its firepower, and the Irish flexed its muscles defensively, stopping the nation's number 2 scoring team, West Virginia, second only to Oklahoma State, and allowing them just a pair of field goals. 23-3, now 23-6 at the intermission. Let's go to Reggie Rucker.
You started to move the ball, Coach. Was your team tight to begin the game?
Well, I don't know, Reg. We got such poor field position, and Major got hurt on the first play of the game, and he's not operating quite like he normally does, so it's a little bit of a problem. But we're going to have to move a lot better.
Are there some things you could see that you can do against Notre Dame in the second half?
Well, we hope so. They're playing real well. We're not playing very good. We're not playing aggressive enough, so we're going to have to get more aggressive.
What can you say to them in the locker room?
Well, we better start playing like we know how.
Thank you.
All right, and there's the word that Major Harris, what a tough break for the Mountaineers, was injured, not seriously enough to take him out of the game, but is feeling some pain and is not 100% hurt in the first play of the game. The Notre Dame Irish 23, the Mountaineers of West Virginia 6 will be back after these messages from your local station.
All week, he's been outstanding in the first half.
He has played very well, but the game's only halfway over.
Are you surprised that your team played so well after the long layoff?
I felt we had improved tremendously, but you never know. We've only played a half. West Virginia's an explosive football team. This game's a long way from being over.
Maybe a little bit of the Irish spirit working for you now?
Well, there is an Irish spirit, and it is with us.
Thank you, Coach.
Lou Holtz, his team 30 minutes away from another National Football Championship. And they create the Irish fans young. Notre Dame, one of the great universities in our nation. South Bend, Indiana, the scene, and oh, so rich in tradition it is.
In a recent survey, American college students said they were mainly concerned with themselves. They were not interested in giving as much as in receiving, not as taken with service as with success. Yet at Notre Dame, students have always put their time where their values are. Why? Because volunteering is a commitment that educates. Notre Dame's president, Holy Cross Father Edward Malloy, describes the university.
A place where the mind and the heart can come together, where we can take our training and our intellectual development and focus it in such a way that we can make a difference.
Many Notre Dame students are making a difference. Some work with mentally and physically handicapped children. The children are taught, but their teachers also learn. They learn patience, kindness, respect for other human beings. And the final lesson for students is that there are many things to learn at Notre Dame, and one is how to care.
West Virginia in white, and a time where Don Nehlen had to appeal to all of their offensive weaponry, and it is a team that can score often and can score from any part of the field, but the big question mark will be the shoulder of Major Harris. And Lou Holtz, he's with 1 minute to go, he'll still say, we haven't won this yet if you were up 100-0.
Well, they're not up 100-0, but they certainly have dominated in the first half. The statistics will bear that out, and they have not needed the turnover, which was the big tool they used against Miami and SC. They've been able to do it with great defensive pressure on the West Virginia offense and with a relentless offense that has been very, very productive.
2-1, the Irish offensively over Don Nehlen's team. In case Nehlen does have to go to the backup quarterback, number 7, Greg Jones, he is even a stronger passer than Major Harris, but he doesn't have the versatility nor the experience with the offense.
I think the key word there is experience, and that decision by Lou Holtz to defer. They won the toss. They decided to put their stronger unit on the field, the defense, that has paid such big dividends, and there is Jones, a backup quarterback, and
they're acting as if he might be coming in the way his teammates are coming over to him.
Well, he may be the man who's going to be called on, and if that injury is serious enough to Major Harris. The other thing that's interesting, when you see a backup quarterback go onto the field, very often there's a letdown by the defense. I don't know why. It just happens. Let's see if perhaps that won't be the case here. I'm sure that would be welcomed by all the West Virginia fans.
There's the Rocket Ismail. He had a touchdown reception in the first half, 29 yards. And Bauman's kick is to the side, trying to keep it away from Ismail, and they just lateral it back to him. And he's out to the 33, and that's all. Waters, number 5, the first man there. Braxton Banks caught the ball and quickly got it back to someone who can run a little faster. In the first half, in case you're just joining us, the Irish were very productive. 5 possessions, 3 touchdowns, a field goal, and only once were they held on downs. And that was when they were inside their own 10-yard line.
And much of that success due to Tony Rice, both running and especially throwing the football.
Rice gives to Mark Green, and the senior on first down is out to the 38-yard line. Orlando and Drumgoole, the safety men, make the tackle. Major Harris, yards per completion. Oh, 19 a completion throughout the course of 88, 13, 6 today, and Tony Rice hitting the big numbers.
Boy, look at those numbers average for today.
His patterns have been open. Every pass has been over the middle. He hasn't worked the sidelines at all. They've found the openings right down the middle. Ismail and Eilers to the right. They hand off to Brooks, and he's met solidly at the line of scrimmage. Theron Ellis, junior inside linebacker, with a good pop. Robert Pickett was there as well, and Orlando. So third down, Notre Dame, and about 3. In comes Green with the play. Brooks goes out. His first possession of the second half really sets the tempo for the next 30 minutes. So for West Virginia's defense, the challenge is there. Rice keeps, tosses to Green, And on the option, the Irish have the first down at the 44-yard line. Drum goal. And Orlando, the tackler's a 6-yard gain. Green, who is a basketball star in high school in Riverside, California, he played behind a pretty good shooter, Reggie Miller, the All-America at UCLA. He says, in fact, he says that's his favorite sport, basketball. And there's Major Harris. Apparently, they've attended to whatever the injury might be. We've tried to get some confirmation of the injury, what it is, and its seriousness. No one has been able to locate that yet. Green finally tripped up. Dale Jackson, 93, and an outside linebacker, able to make the stop. He's from Canton, Ohio. Home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Well, Harris is going to practice some snaps, so apparently, obviously, a courageous effort in the first half if he was injured on the first play and never came out. Second down between 6 and 7. Ooh, Rice, good job of pulling the ball away from his fullback and coming back. It appeared to be a little bobble in there. Chris Herring makes the stop at the 49 of West Virginia, where it'll be 3rd and 4.
Chance to watch the execution on that last play. You read on the first and then duck back inside. Rice trying to cut back against the grain, knowing how eager this West Virginia team is to get outside and stop him. Able to pick up a little bit of yardage there anyway.
At tight end is on the left side. 2 wide receivers to the right. He's liking Derek Brown. Oh, he's going to keep it this time. He cuts inside, and he's nailed by Dale Jackson and Bo Orlando. And I don't think he picked it up. Looks like he's a yard short. And here comes the punting team on for Notre Dame. So West Virginia does something they accomplished only once in 5 possessions the first half, and that is stop Notre Dame from scoring. Grandis Bell will be the return man for the Mountaineers. He's back at his 10-yard line as Jim Sexton, South Bend, Indiana walk-on, will punt it. Bell does not fair catch. And has a 11, 12-yard return out across the 20-yard line. So West Virginia desperately in need of a score, and Major Harris apparently will be the quarterback when we return. The Irish 23, the Mountaineers 6. Welcome back, Major Harris. This is the first quarter, the 3rd play of this game, and this apparently is where he injured the left shoulder. Watch.
Hit, knocked down by Alm and Stams. He's driven down on that left shoulder, and you see him wince and reach for that shoulder right there. Just moments ago, you see them adjusting. I'm sure as he's lifting that arm, he was having trouble lifting that arm. He was holding it tightly against his side in the last couple of series of the first half. He may have gotten a little help to block the pain in that shoulder in the locker room.
And he comes out on the option, something we didn't see much of in that first half. And trio of Irish tacklers. Bolkar was there first.
West Virginia will trust the play calling to Dwight Wallace, who really selects the passing plays, and Mike Jacobs, who will basically select the running plays. But this is tough with an injured quarterback who's been your main man. You've got to take him carefully. You don't want to get him hurt, but at the same time, you've got to get points on the board.
He throws complete. And a first down at the 40-yard line to tight end Keith Wynn. 14 yards on the play.
And you still see that arm staying down. He's not able to get that arm up very high. Pressure. Frank Stams. Good play right there, right past Rick Phillips, number 68.
Ooh, and he threw him right on, well, actually the other shoulder, the right shoulder.
And I don't know that Notre Dame knows about this injury. They obviously are still playing football, which is their challenge.
10:22 left, 3rd quarter. Notre Dame has led throughout. Craig Taylor, the fullback, met by Wes Pritchett, the inside linebacker for the Irish, who reads poetry. I asked him who his favorite poet is, and Pritchett said E.E. Cummings, as in
how do I love thee? Let me count the ways.
Well, having had a chance to visit with these Notre Damers in South Bend, I got a little taste of Shakespeare the day I was there for a scrimmage. He is a character.
He'll be drafted fairly high next spring. Harris losing his footing, and there's the difference between grass and the artificial turf, and the fact that Harris was operating in an area of the field where there is nothing much more than sand. Jeff Alm secured him.
For 4 weekends, this stadium has hosted back-to-back professional and college games, and it tore the middle of this turf right out. And of course, you're right, Dick. That's painted dirt down there, and it does not hold the cleats like the artificial turf.
3rd and 8 from the Mountaineers 42. Stands putting on the pressure. Harris throwing into coverage, and the interception by Pat Terrell. Pritchett, Gordon, and Stams were all after Harris, making his life miserable on that pattern. And on the run, he finally had to dish it down the sidelines, and Terrell, who had 2 interceptions in the regular season, 1 for a touchdown against Miami, 60-yarder against the Hurricanes, picks this one off.
Terrell moved to defense from a receiving position to take advantage of his speed. He is a receiver on that play.
It's the Irish with the ball. Timeout at their own 35. Leftovers from the holidays into the new year. Part of the fans here cheering for Notre Dame. 35-yard line. The Irish after the interception by Pat Terrell. The first turnover of this Fiesta Bowl. The Irish with a 23-6 lead, and Tony Rice at the controls. Wishbone. Rice keeps. Again, broke the initial hit from Mike Fox. Spun away, and Lawrence Drumgoole and Dale Jackson had to get him. Down at Pasadena. 2 teams that Notre Dame beat during the regular season. It's USC leading Michigan at the half, 14-3. Coach Schembechler looking for a rare win in Pasadena. 4-11 his all-time record, but it's been leaner lately. 8.5 to go. 3rd quarter. And Rice looking for Green. He's open, and he's got it at the 27-yard line. Bo Orlando caught up, but a perfect throw by Rice.
Lou Holtz has utilized the skills of this offensive team extremely well. This is a single pass option right here. He knows who he wants all the way down the sideline. Play action encourages Bo Orlando to stay up front just a little bit too long, and Green's speed is the difference there as that ball hits the target. 1st and 10.
35-yard play. Now Tony Brooks swings to the outside and has about 10 yards to the 16-yard line. Chris Herring finally tripped him up. Allen, that offensive line has done an outstanding job of opening holes and protecting Rice when he's needed it.
Well, they certainly have, Dick. Dean Brown and Tim Grunhard, Mike Helt, Tim Ryan in there, and Andy Heck. And this line, except for Heck, will be around next year. They're probably going to be even tougher next year than they are this year.
Only going to lose 6 starters from today's game. Double tight end, Frank Jacobs and Derek Brown. And it's the fullback, 22, Anthony Johnson, the first option inside the 15. Scott Summit, 73, made the tackle. Let's check some of the men up front for the Irish.
You watch and see how many of the white shirts are moving backwards. That's Brown right there, just driving Herring off the ball. He's got him 10 yards back. Well, you get some kind of award for that kind of blocking.
Dean Brown from Canton. Alan Page, the great All-American Hall of Famer from Canton, Ohio, migrated to the Irish campus. Flag down before the snap.
Well, it's understandable.
Folks north. Offense. Still 2nd down.
Dean Brown is the strongest of that offensive line, a bench press of 425 pounds. He used both strength and size to drive Herring off the ball.
You saw the man on the sidelines, Lou Holtz, who was born in West Virginia, and Farlands B. He said, don't know what would have happened to me, but for World War II, when my dad went off to war, we moved to Ohio, and there went to a Catholic elementary school where we marched to the Notre Dame fight song every day. It was destiny. Brooks zigzagging for maybe a yard. Dale Jackson, the backup linebacker, has played a big game in the last 2 quarters. There he comes, Jackson, also from Canton, Ohio, where he was the basketball center on the state champions.
Well, let's go back and take a peek at Dean Brown. Well, again, he's got Chris Herring in his sights, and Herring has got to say, hey, why don't you go block on somebody else, fella?
Your own size.
Pick on somebody your own size.
Brown is 283. 3rd down 10. And Rice keeps, and he has to eat it as Chris Parker, an all-East defensive tackle, makes the stop. He's a 5th-year senior from Whitehall, Pennsylvania.
Well, we've watched a couple of great blocks by Dean Brown, but he misses on this cutoff block, and his man will make the tackle as Chris Parker, who's made 1/3 of his tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Pretty remarkable for a defensive end. Makes a fine play there.
Reggie Ho, the academic All-America. He's got a routine, a little magical touch with the fingers, and now his kick is good from 30 yards. Ho kicked 4 field goals in the opening season win against Michigan, has his first today. It's 26-6.
You know we're gonna be there, don't think twice. Service is part of our name. We're a part of your country, a part of your town, and no one else does it the same. We deliver, we deliver. It's the reason you trust us. You know that we're gonna come through. We're your postal service. We deliver for you. We deliver for you.
One night, not too many years from now, some companies will have great cause for celebration. They'll be the ones who used information and technology, not merely as a way to compute, but as a way to compete. Anderson Consulting would like to help you be one of them.
West Virginia has 3 players out of this ball game. First of all, Jim Gray is out, middle guard. John Stroyer, the starting offensive guard, is out, and running back Andra Johnson is out. Replacing Stroyer in the starting lineup is Brian Hendricks, a senior from Maryland. So they have 3 players out of the ball game, and I know with Stroyer out of this game, it's going to affect that offensive line play.
Well, that unit, 5 men who've been together for so long, and you just take one man out, it has to be disturbing. So injury is part of the West Virginia story. You visited both Morgantown and South Bend right after our final NFL regular season. Merlin, any impressions you can share with us?
Well, I certainly was impressed with both campuses and both athletic programs, and traveling back and getting a chance to drive through those beautiful mountains back into Morgantown and meet a lot of friendly people. I tell you, they greeted me. That's like going home to me, getting back to the mountains and folks that'll sit down and look you in the eye and talk with you. Very friendly welcome. I've got great respect for what they're doing back there, West Virginia's program.
Hackett approaches the ball. And here comes Andra Johnson. Actually, Tim Williams, number 24, Andra Johnson, 34, is one of those injured.
And Andre Jones, the linebacker, has been a major force here on special teams, just pounding people and knocking them down today.
Major Harris, who looked a bit sharper in the first possession, but then was intercepted as he was pressured out of the pocket. What a talent he is. Play action to A.B. Brown, and then the toss to the wide open fullback Craig Taylor. who backpedals out of bounds at the 33-yard line, a gain of 7.
Grannis Bell, wide receiver, all alone downfield by himself, but not spotted by Major Harris on that play. And I've got to say that with an injury, particularly one to your shoulders, that's got to bother your rhythm. The ability to run, the ability to pick things out downfield. And one of the strengths that Major Harris had demonstrated throughout his 2 years of playing as the starter for this offense is the ability to scramble, get that extra piece of time.
2nd and 3. And again open is Taylor. Same play to the other side, and Taylor bulls his way to the 50. I understand that Johnson, a knee, and Gray and Stroya suffered concussions, and Harris a left shoulder injury. To 6. The Mountaineers with a long climb to get back into this one. We have 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Harris keeps and then is caught from behind. Chris Zorich showing you his speed. 4.68 to get Harris from the backside, the sophomore.
Unusual to find nose tackles who can control in the center of the line and then flatten out in pursuit with that kind of agility. That's a fine play by the sophomore nose tackle. Zorro, they call him.
He had to sign up for extra classes as a senior in Chicago to make sure he met the requirements to get into Notre Dame. That's where he wanted to go. Harris drills that one over the head of the tight end win, and a flag is down. He may have roughing the passer on Wes Pritchett.
And that's exactly what we're going to have. 2 dead ball fouls contributed to the first drive that got 3 points for West Virginia. Pritchett saying, what did I do? Well, we'll take a peek and see what Pritchett did.
Defense, automatic first down.
Ball is gone.
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
Man, that's a mean pop. Well,
they're showing that one on the screen here, and obviously the folks don't like it.
That's a good 15-yard penalty to be sure. 32-yard line, they mark it after the foul. 4:25 left in the 3rd period. West Virginia trailing by 20 points, 26-6. A draw play to A.B. Brown. Swings to the outside, doesn't get much. 27-yard line. There again, Merlin, even at those moments, and there have been 4 or 5 when a West Virginia ball carrier saw a little daylight, boom, blue jerseys.
We talked about the choice that Lou Holtz made when he came to Notre Dame. He said, the one thing we don't have is enough speed. He went out and recruited speed. Zorich being held inside. That's Koken, the center, able to lock him up. But look how quickly they get A.B. Brown going sideways, and Smagala, who's got more speed than the fine tailback, right there waiting for him.
So a play that looked as if it would go much longer, gets only 4 yards, and then this quick pop by Taylor, a man who has not lost a yard in 2 seasons at West Virginia, and interestingly had 77 tries both years. The last 2 years, no one ever knocked him down for a loss. This will be 3rd and 3 as you see the vital statistics late in the 3rd quarter. Calvin Phillips, who has not caught a pass, had 24 to lead the Mountaineers, comes out to the left. Rembert is with him. Harris just does get away, and then shows his speed, and out of bounds at the 16 with a first down. Don Grimm was the man who almost caught Harris for a loss, and Major Harris at 207 pounds shows you why he has star written all over. Not only that great arm of his, but what speed to escape.
He also has incredibly powerful legs, and that's what usually allows a running back to get out of tackles like that. Little pump, and he is pumping that arm, and if he's doing so with that injured shoulder, you got to believe there's a lot of pain in that body right now.
Looks to the end zone, has a man open, Grant for a touchdown. Grannis Bell.
is down.
It may have been a dead ball foul. It looked like it was thrown after the pass was caught.
He spiked the ball. Maybe that's what it is. So Harris finds Grandis Bell for the score.
Have a dead ball. Personal foul. Touchdown set. Penalized on the kickoff.
Well, personal foul apparently for a hit after the touchdown. No, for the spike.
We'll see against whom. He wasn't. Bauman tries the extra point. And it's 26-13. Oh, Major Harris returns, and the Mountaineers applaud.
Do you know?
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
That it was a foul against Notre Dame. Watch as Bell catches the touchdown pass. Todd Light comes over, gives him a shove, and the flag flies.
But this is what they have been hoping for here in the West Virginia section all afternoon. And I'm sure all the troops down in Crockett's finally getting a chance to cheer in Morgantown. They'll also have an opportunity here, and with the 15-yard penalty, perhaps an opportunity, Dick, to go ahead and try the onside kick. You don't lose much.
Ball is spotted at the 50-yard line when you're down by 13 late in the third. There's 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in the period. It is an option for Nealon. Meanwhile, Ismail said, well, then I'd only have to return 100 and some instead of 80 some. He's the deep man.
Well, your choice is simply to try and rip it out of the end zone and trust in your defense, or to go after the onside kick, and let's see what Don Nealon has decided to do.
It's interesting, Lou Holtz, who believes that the special teams set the tempo for the entire game. He puts his two top fullbacks, Braxton Banks and Anthony Johnson, they're the wingmen in front of Ismail. And he says, hey, I'm thinking that way too. Watch out for the onside kick.
Nope, that's going all the way out.
And Ismail won't have a chance. And it's a touchback out to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Bolkar on the ground on that play. Quickly back up. Scoring drive. Well, good news for West Virginia.
Didn't take him long, 2 minutes. As Harris was 3 for 3 passing on the drive, and the payoff, a 17-yard throw to Grandis Bell.
And what Don Nealon and his West Virginia coaches are saying right now is now we need to pounce on them defensively and convincingly turn the momentum of this game back in our direction. And boy, there's an emotional coach. He's saying that's the first step. Now let's see what we can do with the defense.
Rice hands off to Green, and he's hit in the backfield for a loss. Number 61, Mike Fox, and 93, Dale Jackson. You know, many fans, both sides, West Virginia, Notre Dame, gave up Christmas to spend their money to come out and see this battle for number one. And there are literally hundreds here that this is their Christmas present, to see these two teams play in person. Rice faking, then going down the middle to Brooks. Intercepted by Willie Edwards. Edwards at the 30. Edwards at the 26-yard line, and West Virginia on its feet.
And you saw Lou Holtz saying to Tony Rice as he came to the sideline, it's all right. It's all right. He's got a young team. They have had trouble sustaining their scoring in the second half. But right now, the defense that has been so dominant in the early going in this game, backed up, needs to rise to the occasion. For West Virginia, it's very simple. They've got to get into the end zone.
Again, Rice going down the middle, and this time Edwards was laying and waiting from the 26. First turnover for West Virginia, and Harris now. And he'll have to eat it. Half the Notre Dame team gets him at the 27-yard line. A loss of 1 or 2.
All of his receivers were over on the left side, so when he was pump faking, there just was no one there to deliver the ball. Harris brings him out of the huddle. Phillips left. Remberg right. Harris looking for Phillips. He's covered well. Now he throws long for Bell. Oh, what a defensive play by Stan Smagala. Reaching in and knocking a touchdown away. Meanwhile, Wes Pritchett was the man harassing the quarterback.
You get a feeling for the kind of power that Major Harris has in that arm. He can kneel down on one knee and whip that football 50 yards. That one in the air a long distance, but it is indeed a beautiful defensive play. Look at that arm right up inside and knocking that ball away.
Grandis Bell flirting with 2 touchdowns here late in the third quarter. Exactly 2 minutes remaining in the third. West Virginia down 23-6 and then 26-6 early in the third. Has scored a touchdown in the third quarter. And now another chance, except Harris has to eat it at the 42-yard line. George Williams and Frank Stams. Arnold Ali 97 is in there.
Ali, a true freshman who's had trouble keeping his weight up during the season. Gone from 207 down under 200 pounds. There he is, top of your screen. He and Stams both coming in with great heat. And that's a sandwich there.
No one back for Notre Dame, so the interception by Edwards produces nothing. And now Carrion will try to drop it inside the 20. He hits this one into the end zone.
Trying to pooch it and just got too much on it. It'll come out to the 20.
Well, Notre Dame survives the interception. And boy, they're really patting the defense on the back on the far side.
I'm sure the message to Major was much like the message that Holtz gave to Rice. It's all right. We've still got time left to go. Dwight Wallace at the other end of that phone saying, Mage, we can still score some points. Right now, the pressure shifts back to West Virginia's defense. They were so inspirational a few moments ago. Let's see if they still got that fire, Dick.
But the emotional swing when West Virginia made the interception, and you could feel their sidelines lift. But then the defense of Notre Dame produces an equal result for the Irish fans and teammates. Across to Mark Green. Runs into his own man. Blocker Frank Jacobs was the man who stopped Green. He was pushed by the defender Chris Parker, who set up the play with his charge. Parker, an all-East performer.
That very distinctive logo on the sides of the helmets. One of the changes that Don Nehlen brought with him to West Virginia at WV, VW, WV. Don't do WV. VW.
They wouldn't fit in the VW.
That's almost become a statewide symbol for West Virginia. The pride they have in this team.
On second down, it's Green again. Pursued, and you have the feeling after the interception that Lou Holtz isn't going to throw unless it's a very safe pass.
You see the clean Golden Dome on these Notre Damers. When Holtz went to Notre Dame, he said, I think we ought to put an ND on the helmet. And they had to very carefully explain to him, Coach, that's a replica of the Golden Dome. There is no ND on the Golden Dome.
And there is some gold, actual gold within the paint they use on those helmets. Has been for a long time.
Student managers spend a lot of time shining those helmets up and making them look bright for a day like today.
15 minutes for the national championship, and number 1 Notre Dame leads 26-13. We open the fourth quarter. The commander of the Notre Dame ship, Lou Holtz, knows how to win. If he's in the lead going into the fourth, since he's been at Notre Dame in 3 years, his teams have won all 21 of those games. He leads 26-13, and it's the Irish ball at their own 23, third down and 7. And a draw, and Rice has the first down and more out to the 39-yard line. In fact, Ryan and Heck opened the hole, 16 yards for Rice. Orlando made the tackle.
To attack a defense in so many ways, when you know that they're eager to respond, they're keyed emotionally, you simply give them a chance to rush the passer, and in essence, they create the hole for you with some fine blocking inside. Mike Hecht in particular doing a good job of sealing off on the strong side on Parker.
Now Rice back to throw. Has a man wide open. Out of bounds goes Ricky Waters inside the 5-yard line. Now Lou Holtz back in the spring wanted to put Mark Green at flanker to replace Tim Brown. At the last minute he changed his mind, put Waters, another tailback, out there.
Well, and we remind you again, it was Waters and Brooks who were sent home from that critical game at SC. They wanted so badly to prove themselves here today. Well, their coach had said to them, if you can't hug them and pat them on the back and brag on them, you don't want them on your team. You can sure do that of both of those guys here in their performance today.
Waters' 15 catches led the Irish during the regular season. First and goal. And a yard or two for Pat Eilers, who is the wide receiver operating out of that wishbone. Just took the toss. Eilers from St. Paul, Minnesota, a vicious downfield blocker, and as a kid he competed downhill in the Junior Olympic slalom. Well, it's all downhill, at least in the eyes of some of the Notre Dame fans, as they've got a chance to build on the 26-13 lead.
One of the things that Notre Dame has not done, in spite of what you saw about winning in the fourth quarter, you look at the point production heavily oriented in the first half. That might provide some hope for West Virginia fans, but mostly they're concerned now, get some points on the board yourself.
Fullback Braxton Banks is stopped after about a half-yard gain. One of the reasons, though, that they have scored a low total in the fourth quarter, of course, is way ahead in games.
You take some people out of the game. Absolutely true. The one thing that I would think would be encouraging to West Virginia, they have been an excellent fourth quarter team. They need right now to deny this touchdown. Their defense stomping its feet down there, and so far putting together a pretty good stand. Third down. Let's see what Holtz has in mind for West Virginia's defense.
Waters to the right. He's the man who caught the 57-yard pass. The fake, the throw, the touchdown to Frank Jacobs, who caught only one pass all year for Notre Dame. He's got one for a touchdown in the Fiesta Bowl.
Lou Holtz, such a master when it comes to utilizing his players. Rarely throws in that kind of situation. Very conservative when he gets inside the 20. And I'm sure that West Virginia, well aware of that, was thinking run. They did not get run. They got play action pass.
You can see Rice's basketball talent displayed from that angle. That was like a perfect little jump shot. He passed in to Jacobs. Now they're going to go for the two-point play, as their lead has been at 20 points. They want to at least try to put some added distance on the West Virginia Mountaineers. Rice keeps, and does he get in? Yes. He lurched forward and able to get the ball, and that was the only thing that got in the end zone, but that's what counts. The two-pointer is good, and it's now 34-13. So that makes up for that extra point that they lost after their first touchdown back in the opening quarter. I'm out.
The cannonball. The whip. The hurricane. Some call Air Racine a test site. To us, it's an amusement park. And when a car can handle the rides here, we give it a special name. We call it a Volkswagen. Now, factory-to-dealer incentives on all new Golfs, Jettas, and GTIs may make additional savings possible.
McDonald's is bringing back all your old favorites for a reunion. A big double cheeseburger reunion. It's great to be back.
Here's that last touchdown. Tony Rice up for the jumper. Little nice soft follow through with the wrist. And that is worth 6. And then Rice takes care of the 2 free throws, and they get 8 points out of it.
It's 34-13.
Excuse me, Dick. Rice 7 for 10 on the day, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Holt said earlier in the week, and I think he was tired of questions about Rice's passing ability, he said if I didn't think he could throw, he'd be practicing his back pedal and covering the out pattern. Well, let's talk about it later, folks. You don't have to ask many questions about that kind of day, do you?
Well, he's working on a tough budget, so he says that's a Christmas present and a birthday present for his mom, who celebrates in Woodruff, South Carolina today. Tony Rice, an outstanding afternoon. Meanwhile, Michigan has pulled within 5 of Southern California in the third quarter of the Rose Bowl. 21-point lead with that 2-point conversion. Now Eugene Napoleon. Adrian Jones and others making Andre Jones making the tackle, number 7. That was a big touchdown drive. Boy, the momentum did shift after the interception, and West Virginia unable to convert. 80 yards, 7 plays.
Major Harris still on the field. They're lined up for a quick start here offensively.
The key to that last drive, of course, was the 57-yard pass from Rice to Waters. Watch out, Stams. Boy, he finds a way to come in on that backside. That's Pete at Southern California and Walsh at Miami.
Stams and Pritchard, we mentioned that they, along with Stonebreaker, 3 amigos. Boy, I tell you, they have made their presence felt today. Stonebreaker's been out because of sickness today, but Pritchard and Stams have really been a thorn in the side all day long.
And they get him again. This time it's George Williams, 69, the 282-pound lineman. Well, they know that West Virginia has to pass, and Major Harris under heavy heat.
That's a defensive lineman's dream when you've got a quarterback back there that's got to throw the football.
There's Stams again, who cut off the opposite path.
And the backside. Drop play.
And A.B. stays on his feet. A.B. Brown from Salem, New Jersey.
I think maybe he picked up the, no, another 10. I was going to say, I see a yard marker, but it's the wrong one, and we'll have the punt team. We're talking about those 3 amigos. Stams and Pritchard, they keep teasing Reggie Ho. They tell him if he doesn't do what they want him to do, they're going to marry his sister. He's going to have him in the family for the rest of his life. They're a couple of wild men.
She's one of the assistant trainers on this team. Carrion. This one not a perfect spiral. A low line drive to Waters. Got away from Grant and finally bumped out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Keith Wynn, number 81, with a tackle. Timeout. Notre Dame 34, West Virginia 13. And Major Harris and the hopes of the Mountaineers and their fans from West Virginia have been smothered by a brilliant game performance by the Irish of Notre Dame, who have moved the ball effectively offensively and have been very tough on defense. And Tony Rice, he put some extra ribbon on that present for his mother's birthday. Mark Green for 11 yards and a first down at the 46. Summits in Orlando make the tackle.
Lou Holtz, who runs that veer so often down in red territory inside the 20 and 10-yard line, short yardage, coming out and establishing the strength of that offense here at a time when he wants to control the football.
Well, it was Lou Holtz who had his own idol growing up in Ohio as a Notre Dame fan. He was a quarterback. He wore number 32, Johnny Lujack. All-America, led the Irish to 2 national championships in the mid-40s. Brooks short yardage. In fact, he said, I always wanted to wear a 32 if it was available. I wasn't big enough to fight many to get it. He only weighs 147 now. He said he's lost 5 pounds during the season, and I sat next to him at the Heisman banquet in New York, and he ate everything they put down. I can't believe. He says, I just eat when I'm hungry, and he seems to eat a lot but doesn't gain weight.
Some of the writers have teased him about looking like an anorexic little Dutch boy. And he is a nervous man. He must burn off incredible amounts of energy moving up and down that sideline.
Fullback gets the call, Banks this time, and he's into West Virginia territory before Ron Ellis can make the tackle.
Dick, we talked early in the ball game the great strength of this West Virginia team. They have so many dedicated lifters who work so hard to build their strength, and on the other side a team that works on strength but is concentrated more on speed. And I think in part because of the kind of athletes they've been able to attract. Lou Holtz, with his great ability to recruit and to go out and reach, has been able to find those very quick athletes, and speed does kill. And maybe even perhaps, as Bear Bryant said, luck does follow speed, because the Irish have been lucky with their fast players today.
Play action, and Rice throwing incomplete to Brown. He won't drop many. Derek Brown, who had some big catches in the first half, this pure freshman from Merritt Island, Florida.
I say lucky, I'm really talking about their ability to be in the right place at the right time.
Well, you know, as a defensive player, every time at Utah State or with the Rams, you had somebody who really had speed. Just a wide receiver. The whole team worried about it all week. That was the guy you had to stop.
Yeah. You find as many players as this Notre Dame team has that can really move those feet and move those bodies. And we have seen it so well, both on offense and defense. The ability to stretch the defense offensively and to be there defensively.
Bell is the deep man. Lets it go into the end zone. So Sexton not quite able to drop it inside the 5, and the touchback will give West Virginia the ball at the 20-yard line. Time running out. 9:05 left in this 18th Fiesta Bowl.
Played at Bowling Green the same time I played at Kent State University. We were sister schools, both founded under the same legislative act of 1920. Consequently, they were intense rivalries. I did not have the opportunity to meet Don Nalen when he played at Bowling Green and I was at Kent State, except one time he ran out of bounds by the bench where I was sitting.
Holtz, who is such a clever speaker and is in high demand. Nalen played for Dwight Perry there at Bowling Green. Perry, one of the all-time coaching greats, recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's very proud of the heritage of Mid-American Conference. Holt at Kent State, Neyland, Bowling Green, Chem Beckler, Miami, Larry Smith, Bowling Green, the SC coach, Bill Mallory of Indiana went to Miami, Jim Young of Army, Bowling Green, all those coaches from the Mid-American Conference with bowl teams. Harris looking long for Phillips. Almost grabbed by Smagala. Yeah, he's the best leaper on the team, and you could see him brace himself. He was targeted for that one all the way, tasting it all the way.
Now, both of these teams have weight programs that involves a lot of jumping, a lot of exercises that work on the explosiveness of the muscles. You see some of the use of that here. All three of those athletes up high, and Smagala angry that he could not control that football.
Not unlike the one Terrell. Remember how high he was when he made the interception. In fact, Phillips had to break it up. Had he not gotten a hand in there, Smagala might have pulled down the intercept. Harris pulls it down this time and decides to tuck it away and run out of bounds. And with it has a first down across the 30. A dozen for Major Harris. Time running out. 34-13 Notre Dame. They've led throughout. West Virginia was only behind, what, a little less than 30 minutes their entire season. They've been behind the entire day here in Tempe.
Andy Heck on the sideline.
Harris dumps it off to Taylor, the fullback. And he's all the way out to the 50-yard line. Or check that Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown, a halfback who was the leading rusher for the Mountaineers, 913 yards on the season. Made a nice move. First down. Don't forget the Orange Bowl to follow. The Hurricanes of Miami and Jimmy Johnson, their coach, campaigning that
hey, if we'd made that two-point play at Notre Dame, we'd be #1. Fallen on some deaf ears. He still thinks he's the best team in the country, and there's some support for that against Nebraska and Tom Osborne's Cornhuskers. Harris gunning it deep to Rembert, and broken up by Todd Light. But what a throw. That ball on a line was thrown over 60 yards by Harris, and Rembert, the 6'7" wide receiver, found Light again, a good leaper in front of him.
Todd Light again showing you why speed is so valuable. Look at the position he gets. He doesn't have near the height of a Rembert, but he simply gets good position and then goes up to knock that football away. It's batted here, touched again, almost intercepted by Terrell.
The throw to the sidelines, and the catch is allowed as Bell, who has a touchdown, makes the reception and an 8-yard gain.
I had a chance to talk to Ned Bolkar when I was back at South Bend, and Bolkar, who's had a year that was a little disappointing to him. Many people wanted him to, felt that he would be a much more important cog in the machinery, but Michael Stonebreaker has kind of stepped in and taken a lot of the role that he had played last year. But he said he's looking forward to applying for another year of eligibility. I don't think anyone has really announced that yet, but he said if you want to say it on the air, go ahead and do it.
Harris on the keeper, skipping out of one tackle and then down to the 37-yard line, and a first down.
Now there is Bolkar, who's gone to the sideline momentarily, and because of, well, he's coming back on. Stonebreaker, we mentioned earlier, has been out of the game with a stomach problem, with some flu, and Bolkar has had an outstanding day-to-day. Well, I'm sure Barry Alvarez, the defensive coordinator, will be very pleased if it works out so that he can be back next year.
Harris down the middle. Oh, right off the chest of Jamie Lamond. That ball again gunned, and Lamond didn't get his hands on it. That would have been a sure first down.
A must catch. And a courageous second-half performance by an injured quarterback. And we still don't know exactly the nature of the injury, except that it is a shoulder injury. And it's got to have some heavy pain associated with it. And you wonder why the left shoulder will bother you. Well, it takes your whole rhythm as a quarterback. Amazing to me that he can be as effective as he's been.
They take the option, and now it's Pritchett. And Williams throws no one there. That'll be a penalty. There was no receiver in the area. Tried to avoid this sack, and unsuccessfully.
Intentional grounding on the quarterback. Lost it down.
Well, this is something you can't get away with. If you know you're going to get sacked and you throw the football just to avoid it, they're going to drop that yellow hanky down there.
And that's the toughest of penalties. 15 yards and loss of down.
Well, you can't blame Major Harris. He just wanted maybe to avoid one of those hits. They have been on him all afternoon. This has been a dominant Irish defense.
8 minutes left. We'll talk to the winning coach after the game. This game is so much importance and emotional tension for both of these men. Throw deep and no one there. Smagala, the closest man. Anthony Brown, the halfback downfield. And fourth down. Punting team on for West Virginia. And now the Mountaineers know this is not to be the completion of the impossible dream. Impossible in that a team, a 500 team of last year, has emerged as one of the great clubs this year and looking for an all-time 12th win in the season. Terrian kicks to Waters, who lets it bounce. But West Virginia can't get there. It'll come out to the 20. 54, a net of 34. Notre Dame has the ball with 7 minutes, 42 seconds remaining. The national title in their grasp. The big game, Miami and South Bend, 31-30. Perhaps the game of the year. Air Force, Navy, Rice, Penn State, and then Southern California
27-10 in Los Angeles, and the Trojans were #1 at the time. Notre Dame, 7 minutes and 42 seconds left, leading 34-13. Rodney Culver, the freshman. Boy, he's a little bullet, isn't he? 9 yards in a hurry.
Dick, when you look at that Notre Dame success of this season and yet go back to the first game of the season when 15 of the 22 starters were only in their first or second start at their position, it's hard to have imagined at that point that there would be all of this success.
Lou Holtz has brought in Steve Bellis. He's not in at quarterback for Tony Rice, but he's an all-purpose. He's the Irish answer to Jim Jensen, the all-purpose back of the Miami Dolphins. Bellis, number 8, plays special teams, plays tailback, is the backup quarterback, and he's from Phoenix, Arizona. So this is a big moment for him. He gets the call and straight ahead for the first down to the 34-yard line. Bellis is a senior, 6'4" and 211 pounds. Chris Herring made the tackle.
I think you will begin to see a lot of substitutions in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game. Both of these coaches know how important this bowl appearance is to their players. I want to give them an opportunity to be on the field today.
One of those in now, number 80, Steve Alanese, who has not played much today, comes in with a play. He wears number 80 from Edinburgh, Texas. Clock ticks away. 6:42, 6:41, 6:40. Notre Dame. Still another national trophy, apparently. And this was the team that was supposed to be a year away from the national championship. Culver called him little. Well, it's 6 feet tall and 212 pounds is small.
I think this has not been a Mountaineer day, but it has been an outstanding year for them. And for the players that graded out on the year over 80%, they're given the honor of being put into the Mountaineer Club. In 86, there was just one member of that club. 87, 16 this year, 46 members. To give you a sense of the kind of success they've had. There's no question they're disappointed in what's happened here today, and you can feel how heavy that load is. But they should be proud of what they have accomplished during this very miraculous 1988 season.
Bellis on second down gets a couple out near the 38-yard line. Steve Grant, the Miami freshman, number 4, makes the tackle. It's Miami and Nebraska next from the Orange Bowl.
You can ask a lot of questions, but one we'll ask is what would have happened had Major Harris not been hurt on that third offensive play.
He doesn't play defense, and the Irish have 34 points.
You're right about that. You are right about that.
Well, it's often they say things happen in threes, and how true that is for the Notre Dame football program and its rich and great history. There's to give the Waters on the reverse. And he is brought down just shy of the first down. They'll bring up 4th down and 1. Chris Herring made another stop along with Summits.
Let's go back to your thought about Marshall, or about Major not playing on defense. And one of the things I said, and I really believe it, that his leadership carries over to the defensive team. And I felt that going into this game, he needed to have a fast start in order to lift the confidence level of both the offense and the defense. That did not happen, and I think that had a major impact on the team's performance today.
Major impact indeed. Grandis Bell is back at the 20-yard line. Sexton to punt. 4:17 left. Ooh, very close to blocking was Pickett, and he might have gotten a piece of it as that ball slices right into the Irish sidelines and goes out of bounds way up at the 40-yard line. 17 yards on the punt. 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go. Title, and has to be disappointing for the folks waiting down in Miami. I guess they were rooting tie.
Well, they wanted an opportunity to do something, but it doesn't take away from the great matchup they have in the Orange Bowl, and I know all of us are looking forward to getting a chance to watch that game as well. And you sense in this ball game the reality of the game of football. Somebody wins and somebody loses, and there is great pain on the losing side always and great elation in winning. I guess that's what makes the game so exciting.
Well, you don't remember who finishes second in the big ones. whether it be the Super Bowl or a game like this.
One of the things that I enjoyed at my visit to Morgantown and West Virginia, a little bit of Don Nehlen's coaching philosophy. He said, I believe in being tough on these guys in practice. And he said, we grind on them pretty hard. And he said, I tell my assistant coaches, you never want to let them leave the locker room unhappy. You got to love them a little bit, make sure they love you as well. A lot of love on that team and a lot of happiness on the other side of the line. As Notre Dame has had it go their way throughout this afternoon.
We talked about good things and bad things happen in threes. Well, these are the good things for Notre Dame football, and I guess it's almost as like the script writers. You look at Rockne and Leahy and Parsegian and Devine. They didn't have national championships in Rockne's days voted by the fans, but Leahy in his third year, Parsegian in his third year, and Dan Devine was here in Arizona in his third year, won the national championship. This is Rico Tyler, a big fullback, rumbling down to the 37-yard line. And Rockne, in his third year, was the mythical national championship team in 1920. That was the year of George Gipp, and Gipp in the next to last game against Northwestern with pneumonia and would die later in December. Storied movie with Pat O'Brien. George Gipp played by President Ronald Reagan. Well, Lou Holtz is in his third year. And we will talk to Lou Holtz at the conclusion of this game. He's really hidden any feelings about this being an important game. I'm wondering if, after it now becomes reality, that he too has followed in the footsteps of those great coaching giants under the Golden Dome at Notre Dame, whether he'll finally be able to come out and say, hey, this is one of the highlights of my life, or will he allow himself that emotional privilege at this time? Greg Jones is the quarterback now. This guy's got a major league arm, but he hands off to Eugene Napoleon, and with both sides using reserves, it's Napoleon out of bounds at the Notre Dame 28-yard line. 3:10 left. Napoleon transferred from the University of Pittsburgh. Well, the good news is that talent will be back at West Virginia for 2 more years. The Major, and that is his real name. It was his uncle's name. He didn't like it as a kid, he said, but said it kind of plays rather nicely now.
We talked to you about that offensive line of Smider, Kovac, Koken, Stroya, Phillips, all graduating this year. But during the season, Don Nehlen has alternated on every third down a second unit in there of Redwine and Wolfley and Price, Parker and Lynn, and all except Redwine will be back to block for the Major next year.
There's Dan Devine, who was a resident here in the Phoenix area. Notre Dame coach who also brought a national championship with Tony Rice. They'll go for it on 4th down, 4th and about 2.5. Jones rifles it for Tyler, and Tyler has a first down at the 21. He's bigger than his 214 pounds listed in the media guide.
At the end of the season, Don Nehlen got his team together and said, we're going to vote on a most valuable player for the year. Orlando held up his hand. He said, Coach, do we really need to do that? Well, of course, Major Harris was the most valuable player. We may not need to vote too hard here today.
For our most valuable player, that seems quite apparent as Tyler up the middle inside the 20. Wes Pritchett, who dedicated this season. You know, there are a lot to this game, and all of us with sons, or those of us that look to our fathers for leadership and love. Wes Pritchett's father, a serious stroke last summer, and he's dedicated this season to his dad, who has not been able to enjoy it as much as all would have liked in the Pritchett household down in Atlanta. Jones, but his receiver Rembert falls down, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Jones transferred from the University of Miami and didn't know about Major Harris when he tried to get out from under all the great quarterback talent at University of Miami. He thought he could come up and get a lot of action.
He was behind Vinny Testaverde there, and of course, I don't think Don Nealon knew much about Major Harris. Knew he was a talent, but did not expect the kind of explosion he got when Harris finally got his opportunity.
Now the flag has been thrown. Let's find out.
Ball, unsportsmanlike on defense, first down.
Well, that's the third or fourth dead ball foul against the Irish. Fourth time they've been ticketed, and Lou Holtz, I think, is arguing. Well, he is with the official. I'm sure he doesn't like to see that unsportsmanlike conduct. That usually doesn't reflect well. And he brings out Don Grimm. Grimm, the brother of Russ Grimm, the Washington Redskin lineman who played and starred at Pittsburgh. With the foul, it's down inside the 10, first and goal for West Virginia. And through the hands of Grantis Bell. And a little extra after the play. Well, the most valuable player in today's Sun-Kissed Fiesta Bowl game is Tony Rice from Notre Dame. Sun-Kissed will donate $2,500 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Arizona in Rice's name. Congratulations to Notre Dame and their underclassman quarterback Tony Rice. He threw for over 200 yards. He had some big runs. It was a battle of quarterbacks, and Rice just saw, along with his teammates, the announcement, he is the most valuable player. Napoleon stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Alm, so a lot of the first-string defensive players still in there for Notre Dame. Another flag goes down after the ball. They see themselves on the giant screen.
Unsportsmanlike defense, first down.
Well, that doesn't, that's a shame. It doesn't reflect well on something down there on the Notre Dame side of the field. And here comes Lou Holtz.
Lou wants to know what's going on
He's saying, take the guy out, or what? Well, let's not guess what he's saying.
And now Lou Holtz is going to get a penalty.
Yeah, he's got it. Chris Zorich, we'd have no idea. They don't give you quite the information you get in the NFL as they protect the player's name on penalties, and he's just telling his players whatever it is.
He is very upset, and he is an eye-to-eye coach, and believe me, he plays the game tight in the way it should be played.
See, fans are booing him, but they may be misunderstanding why he was out there.
He not only brought back electricity, but he brought back some eye-to-eye punch down there. I was at their scrimmage one day in South Bend here a couple of weeks ago, and one of the players clipped someone else during the scrimmage, and he went out right now and got a hold of him and was eye-to-eye. This is the man that wants the game played the way it should be played.
Reverse to Rembert, who scored several times on that play and gets one here in the Fiesta Bowl. And the Irish, boy, their tempers are still up. 34-19 the score.
I wonder if some of those aren't taunting calls.
That's what it sounded as if they were saying.
Of course,
the glow of youth and victory.
I think someone's been tossed from the game. I think that was the signal there.
Well, you were talking about the toughness of Holtz, and he's self-deprecating with his humor, his lisp, how little he is, wasn't a great student in high school and all that. But when he was introduced as the new Notre Dame coach, apparently one of the players kind of had his feet up over a chair as he walked in. He just kicked the foot out of the way and says, "You men sit up in your chairs." And he immediately, before he even said hello, said, "I'm the new coach here, and you're going to respect discipline." So that has to really upset him. What is happening now? He can't. That's going to kind of ruin the party for him.
He also added workouts at 5:30 in the morning 4 days a week. And he said, this is the way we're going to get our discipline back here. And a lot of the players credit that with bringing this team back together. They said they had to get together to survive those workouts at 5:30 in the morning. He's not afraid to go in there and grab a hold of one day when Tony Rice not having a good day on the practice field, Holtz went in and sacked him himself. Knocked him right down.
Well, he plays in that bookstore basketball tournament.
He's physical. He is physical and not afraid to get involved. Here's what the official is looking at right there. Well, let's see what happens at the end of that. And that is the player, I think, that was ejected. Oh, he touched the official. That's what he was called for.
Juan Francisco.
Knocked the hat off the official and not allowed to do that.
So they're going to go for the two-point play. West Virginia. Certainly a conversion here will make the final score more respectable. But merely cosmetics in terms of this national championship game, which has been clearly won by Notre Dame. Jones to Rembert. There's that 6'7" leaping power Rembert, who gets all 8 points on the touchdown. 8-6 on a reverse and 2 on the conversion. That makes it 34-21.
Well, a lot of the planned celebrations will be dampered in Morgantown and throughout West Virginia.
Yeah,
there have been some good plays here today for their team as well, Dick.
Well, they're still going to have a welcome home party apparently for the team sometime late next week, and you know, all the thrills that this team has given the entire state. Boy, there you see why Rembert, he's back next year as well. He is going to be high on the NFL list. He's a talent.
If he was available in the draft this year, wouldn't surprise me to see him go in the first round.
Executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC football coverage, Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast produced by Kenneth Roy Edmondson. Directed by Andy Rosenberg. Replay producer Jeff Himes. Our technical director Marilyn Altman. And our tens of men and women with all that talent with the picture and the sounds, our thanks to you, and to Joe Costanza, our statistician. Jim Daves from Notre Dame, and Michael Fragale from West Virginia. Their sports information offices have been terrific in helping us here in the booth, along with Dennis Mnuchin and Bill Colon. Our thanks to Bruce Skinner, the executive producer of the Fiesta Bowl. Another great job, along with John Junker, his associate, Tom Sadler, Herman Fraser, and of course the Fiesta Bowl 18 president Phil Mata. The onside kick. Will it go 10 yards? West Virginia recovered, but I don't believe
think it did. I think it was about 9.5. What are they going to say here? It looked like it was short.
And that's
first down.
Notre Dame gets it at the 41. We would be remiss as well, Merlin, if we didn't congratulate the queen of this Fiesta Bowl. Well, let's see this again first.
The ball will be touched right there, and it's obviously just shy of that 10-yard mark. Ned Bolcar, number 47, turned official there as he said, wait a minute, guys, that didn't go 10 yards. And, of course, the ball goes over on an illegal touch.
Kent Graham, 17, is the new quarterback. He's a sophomore from Wheaton, Illinois. As we're down to the final minute and 10, and they run it into the center of the line with Bellis, the senior from here in Phoenix.
Now, lots of clean uniforms and shiny helmets out there as both coaches put some athletes on the field who have worked so hard this year and deserve the opportunity to share this memory with their teammates.
Final seconds tick away. Sarah Hansen was the queen of this Fiesta Bowl festival. She's a student at Arizona State and the daughter of Tom and Melva Hansen, the commissioner of the Pac-10 Conference. Tom Hansen. Sarah Hansen wins that honor. And the Grand Marshal was Janet Evans, who won 3 gold medals in Seoul. And there it is, the final seconds tick away, and Notre Dame will duly celebrate a national championship. No doubt the Irish are number 1.
real. It's not with hope and with all the heart that every fan has for their team that we're #1. No question, it's now reality for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and their fans. #1 in the 1988 collegiate football season as they defeat West Virginia 34-21. Now to the Orange Bowl. Don Crickey and Bob Trumpy.
Congratulations, Coach Hope. You have to be the #1 team in the nation. What do you feel?
I'm very delighted for the players, relieved. I'm disappointed ended up there with all the penalties at the end, but it's great to win. I'm happy for the players. They played great.
Tony Rice was sensational today.
He was. West Virginia is a fine team. I thought our players played outstanding. Now that it's all over, I can say this. They compete. They're an outstanding team. They beat the #2, 3, 4 team and won 12 games. What more can you ask from them?
Well, Coach, you did a pretty good job of putting this football team together, and an outstanding execution by this team today.
Well, it was a team effort. All of them came together. We had the plan to carry the seniors off the field. Those are the guys that gave us the leadership.
Well, there can be no doubt that Notre Dame is back at the top of college football. Coach Holt, congratulations for a job well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Elena Crush, and congratulations to Reggie Rucker to be able to extricate Coach Holtz from the crowd of Notre Dame fans as they celebrate. Lou Holtz predictably acknowledging his team as they beat West Virginia 34-21. Well, there are always two sides to every story, and a man who's had his greatest year in coaching. He called this the greatest opportunity of his coaching career. West Virginia head man Don Nehlen, who's not only brought a winner to West Virginia, he's brought national esteem. He's with Reggie Rucker.
Coach, I know you're disappointed, but you've had a great year.
Oh yeah, this has been a great season. We didn't play very well. Major was hurt the first half, but Notre Dame is a better football team than we are. They beat us up front. They deserved to win. They were better than we were. Proud of our guys, but Notre Dame deserved to win. They beat us up.
Thank you, Coach. Very classy answer by Coach Nehlen.
Well, Merlin Olsen, I guess the country, and we would be included in that, we're hoping that it might come down to that, the way they used to write those Notre Dame movie scripts where it come down to the final play. It wasn't to be. It was Notre Dame basically all the way.
We can go back to what we said at the very beginning of the day. It was a day when the toughest job belonged to the West Virginia offense, and particularly to Major Harris. That injury, I'm sure, cut his efficiency, but not enough to account for the great job done by the defense of the Notre Dame team and by the outstanding job done by their offense as well. They deserve this big victory.
But in 3 years, a man who won't take the bow but deserves it as well is Lou Holtz. He now indeed, whether he wants to or not, belongs with the greats in Notre Dame football history. Rockne, Leahy, Parsegian, Devine, Holtz. Notre Dame.